Let me see if I can set this up without knocking it over. I don't think I'm good though. Hold on a sec here. I'm also trying to get this on my laptop in case anybody actually shows up to this thing. Here we go. Um, I'll be able to see commence. I have to. I need to shut that off. That way, I'm not squinting. Let's try to read comments. Where's the chat? Let me see. Let me see. Give me just a second. I'll get up. Looks like I've got one person in here. What's up? Whoever that may be. And then if I can figure out how to get this laptop. Oh, there's the chat right there. Now, let me set my phone up. Man, I am out of practice. Let's see if I can do this without dropping it. You know, this is just kind of an experiment. My neighbor, can you hear that? My neighbor just got his dirt bike running and he's zipping up and down the street, which I'm totally okay with. Live and let live, man. That's what you got to do. Let me see. Give me just a second here. What's up, 6 people? Well, I look pretty great. Oh, you can see that knob, can't you? Oh, that's irritating. That is the thing for my thing. Ah, shoot. What kind of chicken shit stuff operation is this? Now I'm crooked though, right? Oh, yay! It's a good night. Look at how clean my workbench is. And my shop. Oh, that's what I've been doing. There's my laptop. I'm trying to see. Oh, sorry, I swung you guys around. To see if there's comments. Mama Lima Bean. What's up, Mama Lima Bean? So let me do this because I am, again, it's been a minute since I've done a video. What's up, YouTube? It's a pleasure to see you. Well, now we got a dum-dum in here. What the heck is going on? Hold on here. Well. Looks like we have children in here. Give me just a minute to clear this all these dumb comments out. Some people just like to watch the world burn, huh? Give me just a second. Give me just a second. I'm trying to remove these dumb things. Because I want to be able to see the normal comments, not the dumb comments. Good grief, that person got in there quite a few times. Right? Ooh. You know what? I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that post. Did you see that, ninja-like reflexes? The camera almost, or my phone almost bit the dust. Well, here we are. We are like 4 minutes into it, and I'm going to start this. Let me get a sip of some fine Southern Oregon spring water. Man, you can't go wrong with just nice cold water. What's up, YouTube? It's your beekeeper here. Good to see y'all. 4 minutes and 20 seconds into this it's not a podcast, live stream. It's Thursday night. It's 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I think. Is that right? 7:02 p.m. It's been a minute since I've done an actual video. I think it's been 7 months. I think the last series of videos I did was when I had the DR650 put together. And I figured I'd jump on here to see if anybody really cared about what's going on in the world of the beekeeper. I know I've got 3 or 4 people that I've met through YouTube over the last 12 or 13 years. I've been making videos, and they actually have my phone number, and they check in. Where are you at? I'm here. I message them back, but I know I get comments and stuff I'm not that relevant. It doesn't matter, but at least it doesn't matter to me that I'm not that relevant. But I just wanted to throw this out there to let you guys know everything's good. Everything is here. I have picked up a few new projects. I've deleted a few projects. I haven't really done a lot of videos on it because it just you just kind of get out of the swing of things sometimes, and you just kind of get things done. I did sell the Suburban. That's down the road. I still have that 1970 Redbug, that project I picked up a little over a year ago, I think October of 22. Is that right? Year and a half ago. Runs like a top. I finally got everything sorted out on that. Had a vacuum leak, had a crack in the back of the manifold that I could not see, and I was just chasing vacuum leaks and poor idle and everything, and I just finally started taking things apart, and I found it and I fixed it, and it runs. Wait a minute, what's going on here? You need to stop for a second. Hold on. There you go. Sorry, that buzzing is a battery charger I have for the 46 Dodge. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Bug. It's always rusty. What's up, Jeff? Yes, I still have the GTO. That one's been around since I was 17. That's a long time ago. That has made it through many years of ownerships, a couple houses, a divorce, and that one's not going anywhere. The frustrating thing about the GTO, and I'll let you guys in on a little secret about that one, and I'm still like pissed. About 6 months ago, I actually made a concerted effort to clean that thing off. It was just before we were going into winter, and my thinking was I wanted to get it, just kind of do an overwinter project on it, so this spring I could get out and play with it, and I can't find the keys. I lost the keys, and I'm irritated by that. So I can't get in the car, I can't get into the trunk, can't start it, clearly. And the key to the gas cap was on that key ring. Oh, for the last, I've been, bought that car in 1987. Anyway, for as long as I've owned that car, the keys have always gone in one spot. I always put my keys in one friggin' spot because I have a lot of stupid vehicles, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers. Anything that takes a key gets put in a certain spot. And I remember in my brain thinking I set the keys down somewhere in the garage and said, this isn't where the keys go, but I'll remember where the keys are. But alas, the keys have disappeared into the ether betwixt some sinks in the garage, and I've torn the garage apart to the best of my OCD ability, and I can't find the friggin' keys. So I have to get a locksmith out here to get the door open. I'm gonna have to change the locks. Not that that's a big deal, but it's frustrating. So yes, the GTO's here. The Suburban is gone, but that's fine. I hadn't driven that in a long time. That wasn't even parked at my house in a while. One Man Shop. What's up, buddy? Wait, I can't. One Man Shop. Robbie, is that right? Mr. Beefsteak, what's up? Holy crap, man! These are some. I don't remember your name, Mr. Beefsteak, but I know you're in Southern California. You're in SoCal. There he is, One Man Shop. Woo! See that the stuff works every now and again. I still have all the other projects. I still drive that little Toyota. I've got a handful of miles on that new motor, 7,000-8,000 miles already. When did I get it done? A year ago. And yeah, a year ago. Runs like a top, man. It's a lot of fun to have that back on the road. Still have the Dodge Cummins powered 2005 pick-em-up truck. That still runs like a top. The new project that I picked up, those of you that follow me on Instagram, not that I have a big presence on Instagram, but there's a handful of you that do. I did pick up a Suzuki GSXR 750. Yeah, sport bike. So now I've got, it fell into my lap. It wasn't running. It was half taken apart. I pretty much got it for the cost of the DMV paperwork. So how do you say no to something like that? A guy was moving. He needed it out of his space. I had a truck. I was willing to come and get it and drag it into the truck. Well, I didn't take video of it. Actually, I took a short video of it running. When I got it running, I put it on my Instagram. and took a few photos of it. It's cool. It's been about 20 years since I've been on a sport bike, and man, I know why I sold a sport bike, because I'm less than responsible on. Oh, didn't hit the ground like a ninja. Justin, Mr. Beefsteak is Justin. I don't know that I knew that, buddy. I know we've been watching each other's videos for a number of, probably a decade, right? Boy, the time flies on the old YouTube machine. Anyway, so I got this GSXR 750. The top end had been taken apart, had a bad head gasket. The head had already gone to the machine shop and back. It just assembly required, and the guy just kind of got in over his head. So I got it all back together, got it running, got it detailed, got it registered, got it insured, and I brought it home the end of December. I think it was the 20th or so of December, and I had it running pretty quickly. I didn't take any video of it, but I do have a lot of fun on a sport bike. So I do have the Harley. I still have the Harley, and I have a sport bike, and I have a dual sport. So I've got all three disciplines of on-road motorsports. Because why not, right? Oh, that water's good. Why not? They're all registered, insured. They all run. They have charged batteries. So I just kind of in the morning, I just kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what I want to take to work when I'm not driving the truck with Cleo. Cleo's still here, which is pretty cool. Mr. Beefcake, you're loving your 2000 Taco, 310. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that little, if I hadn't, well, whatever. If I had known it was just a head gasket that popped on that engine, I should have probably pulled the head off myself. I'd have just done a head gasket on it because I didn't overheat it. The head gasket popped and then it just stopped running. I could have probably just slipped a new head gasket in it, but it had 288,000 miles on it. It's all brand new now, so hopefully I don't have to deal with that for a long time. Yeah, Jeff, I will be careful on that sport bike. I have every intention to sell that one, though. That was clearly a vehicle I didn't need. I wasn't looking for it. I'm not interested in getting back into sport bikes. I don't have any friends that own sport bikes. Not that I have any friends, but the three people that on this planet that I do kind of consider my friend, one of them has a bike, and we do go riding together, even though I'm pretty happy just being a solo cholo. Buddy of mine just moved to Harrisburg, Arkansas. If anybody knows where that is, he is a plumber out here in California, union plumber in Northern California. He just retired and bought a house, bought some land, and moved to Harrisburg, Arkansas, or is in the process of moving to Harrisburg, Arkansas. And he lives in Fresno, California. If anybody's familiar with where Fresno, California is, that's about 200 and the low side of 200 miles from my house. He has a 67 El Camino and a 62 or 63 Napco four-wheel drive Chevy, or is it GMC? It might be GMC pickup, short bed, fleet side, factory four-wheel drive, really cool. And both of those hadn't run in a while, and he was kind of just in that last minute of getting everything packed up because he was getting those vehicles shipped out to Arkansas from California. So I went on a bike ride out there by myself, and 200 miles, it was a little over 210, 212, something like that. That matter. About a 3-hour ride, and it was nice. I just had my music in on the Harley, and went and saw him a couple weeks ago. And then my plan, he's moving. He's got one other car as daily driver, and he's got 3 motorcycles. And he's going to be on his final move out of here. He's going to get a big U-Haul, put the 3 Harleys in the back of the U-Haul, any remaining stuff he has around here, get a dolly for his little Mini Cooper, which is his daily driver. And he's going to drive from California, NorCal, to Harrisburg, Arkansas. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to take that Harley. I'm going to throw my Harley in the back of the U-Haul, and I'm going to road trip with him. It's 2,100 miles from Fresno to his new house, and so I'm going to ride the Harley over to his house in Fresno, put it in the U-Haul, we're going to bomb out there in 2 days. I'm going to spend a few days screwing around in Arkansas, if anybody's on here from Arkansas, and then I'm going to ride back. So I figure I've got a lot of vacation time. I've been working a lot the last year, 14 months. 14 months I've been short staffed. And as of about a month ago, I'm just about fully staffed. I'm still down one position. But the folks that I have that are working for me are good. And I've gone through in the last year and a half, I've gone through so many employees. It's so hard to find people that want to work and want to get a little bit dirty. I don't think I'm a bad guy to work for. I don't think I am. But people just don't want to work. And whatever. So I've done a lot of working. Unfortunately, what I'm doing now, skeeters, the work needs to get done because we have animals in these facilities. I have 3 major facilities that I'm entrusted to oversee, and plus 1 minor facility, and they have animals in them, live animals in them 24 hours a day. So like if an HVAC unit goes down, it's or an exhaust fan or lights are out or something, and we have people in these facilities 24 hours a day, stuff needs to get done. So with or without personnel, things need to get fixed. So I found myself over the last year and a half doing a lot of work, and I still have my construction job. I'm not whining, I ain't complaining, I'm just explaining. That's why the videos have been non-existent on my projects. I really wish I would have got the GSXR stuff going, because that was a lot of fun. And it's like I said, it's been 20 years since I've had a sport bike. I like how everything is compact. Everything is just, it's cool. It's cool. But it runs and it's good. And it's a lot of fun. And if you want to see pictures of that, I probably don't know how to do that right now while I'm on this thing, but you're welcome to pop over to my Instagram. Again, I'm not plugging it because I don't spend a whole lot of time on that thing. Social media to me, other than that little bit of Instagram, YouTube's the only social media I do. I don't get it. I don't want it. It's toxic. Social media is toxic. Facebook, TikTok, even Instagram, even YouTube's toxic if you let it get to you. But I digress. Good water. Eventually, I'll be replacing the head due to a smash valve seat, but for now, she's running decent and doesn't burn a drop of oil. Now, you can't go wrong with those Toyotas. I tell you, I've had a few, and they just run. My little truck just runs. It just goes. But I think I said this already. The GSXR is for sale. Now, when I got it in December, California's been really wet. Northern we got spanked up pretty good with snow and rain. I'm not in a snow zone. I'm pretty much at sea level. I think I'm about, 80 feet above sea level where I'm at. The ocean's that way, just a little bit. And not that matters, but I don't get snow here. The Rancho property got banged up pretty good. I spent a couple weeks up there in December, and I didn't take any video because I was just so burned out on everything, on people, burned out on work, just everything. So I just kind of went up there and disappeared in the mountains, which is nice. And I'm actually looking forward to 2,100 miles in the saddle on that Harley riding home by myself. I'll put my ears in. There are a few people along the way I'm going to stop and visit, but for the most part, I'm just going to figure it out as we go. If I do 500 miles a day, I'm still looking at, potentially 5 days of riding, assuming I don't have any breakdowns. 500 miles a day is a lot, and it's been a while since I've done that much riding. I've done coast to coast before on cruisers, Harleys. And so that doesn't frighten me, and that bike is pretty well maintained. It's fairly low miles. I think it's only got 40,000 miles on the bike. That engine itself only has about 6,000 miles on it. So I've got all the bugs worked out of the engine on that Harley. And it's not a bagger, which is beautiful. So it forces you to not... Sorry, guys. Uh, it forces you to. Why did you even do that? Why? Stop. Okay. Um, Not having a bunch of bags forces you not to overpack. And I've always been the type of guy that just the whole reason of a motorcycle, the whole reason of a Harley in particular, and maybe just because I'm old, and I remember this is the way I grew up. The thinking of way I grew up on a Harley is that you have the freedom of not being tethered to the responsibilities of the world. So why would you want to bring your entire world with you? It's like going camping and bringing a microwave, or going camping and bringing a television to watch movies or Netflix. I don't get it. Me personally, works well for people. A lot of people I know that camp all the time. They've got satellite this and direct TV that, and so that's kind of the thinking with the bike. I don't go on bike rides so I can take my purse with me with all my stuff. I just pretty much what you got in your pockets and what you're wearing, with a change of socks and underwear, in case you get wet or whatever, and you just kind of figure it out as you go. That's just the freedom of that. Mr. Beefsteak, Mr. Justin, your handyman business is running strong, but it is good to be a grind at times. It does. Hey, Jeff, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate you hanging out. Sleep well? Yeah, 5 o'clock. I'm a 5:30 person these days, so I get you. But I'm Pacific Standard Time, so have a good night. You know, the handyman business, I enjoyed. I don't know. I don't regret. So I've been for those of you that kind of followed along in my world, and again, if you didn't, that's okay. I'm not really that exciting, but about 5 years ago, I took a position with this nonprofit, this animal shelter group, to run their facilities. And as I said, we've got multiple major facilities, big ones. The smallest one is 56,000 square feet, and the biggest one is on 86 acres. So there's what am I saying here? Oh, I kind of miss working for myself. It is a grind working for yourself, but there's a certain amount of freedom that I miss from being self-employed. I like what they pay me. I'll be honest with you. I don't dislike what I'm doing, not at all. It's not really a challenge. It's more of a babysitting job. They pay me fine, and all the checks go through. I get paid every 2 weeks, and it's consistent, and it's nice to have that. But when I was working for myself, I enjoyed just the freedom of calling my own shots. So, what up, Scott? Sir? It's a pleasure to see you here. Just thought I'd jump on this Thursday night and chat it up a little bit. We're 23 minutes into it. I promise I'm not going to run this into 3 hours of tomfoolery. But that's it. I'm just dealing with work, and now that work is settling down a little bit because I've been able to hire some humans to work for me. Yeah, buddy, long time no see. It's been several months since I've done an actual video. I did a few shorts, which are kind of cheating. They're super easy, and I get it. I get it, because sometimes I'll get on the shorts thing on this YouTube, and I'll just, an hour later, I'm like, damn, I should have gone to bed an hour ago. I get the attraction of that, but yeah. Always when I started this live stream, I took you around for a quick loop on my shop. So the problem is when I'm that busy. I mean, this shop is 16 by 16, 8-foot ceiling. It's I got stuff hanging from the rafters, as you could see. I have a lot of stuff in here, right? This is my workspace. And over the last several months, as I put stuff, my bench just became a catch-all for garbage and the floor, and I just couldn't walk around in here. So, what's today? Today's Thursday. On Sunday, just this last weekend, I was doing some work on the fleet on Saturday, And then Sunday was my dedicated day to make this space great again. So everything came out. I filled up the garbage can, the house garbage can. I filled up the recycle bin. I filled a lot in. I didn't fill up, but I put a lot in the back of my truck. Big stuff. I threw away my 32-gallon steel drum I use as a trash can in here was full, and we just had trash pickup last night, so I emptied this one out. Does anybody care? I don't know. I got rid of a lot of stuff, and I'm tired of tripping over stuff. But now I can see the floor. I actually have floor space. I actually have a workbench, which is wonderful. Wonderful. Good grief, it's nice. Um, but man, oh man, let me tell you. I'll tell you a story. Wait a minute. Justin said something here. Actually, a big inspiration, along with a fully equipped shop and making my decision on starting your business. Well, that you know what? Thank you. I think. uh, I I enjoyed it. Like I said, I miss working for myself because I miss that freedom of calling my own shots, calling my day. It's a different, for me, it's a different motivation working for myself than working for someone else. And again, I really enjoy where I work. So there's no animosity for me working for the nonprofit that I work for right now, but it's different. When I first was self-employed, I was married at the time. I had kids in private school, and me working for myself allowed me to be very involved in their life, and put them through college. Both of them went to universities. They and I footed that bill, which is fine. That was my deal with them. So now here I am, and I'm not married right now, which is fine. My kids are grown and they're on their own. They're all self-sufficient young people, happy, hopefully happy, but they are productive members of society, which is good. And so I don't know. I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know what any of that means. That's just a lot of details that probably doesn't mean much, but it was just, I do miss being by myself, and I'm glad I was some inspiration, and I hope it works out. It really takes a special mindset for you when you're self-employed to get out of bed and push yourself to go to these jobs, because you are your own boss, right? You're your own motivator. But if you do good work, and you do good work, and you're honest with people, people will call you back. I was almost 15 years on my own working for myself. I mean, I still work for myself. I still have my business. All right, I've been with this nonprofit for 5 years now, so I guess I could say I'm coming up on 20 years being self-employed, still having my own business. And so I still work for one family that owns 4 apartment buildings. I didn't have any work tonight, which is why I'm home at 7 o'clock. I usually work like 6 to 3 at my day job, and then I'll work 4 to 8, 4 to 9 on apartment stuff, and I'll put in 20 hours a week on my own business. I'm just stacking it for retirement. What are you gonna do? Hey, disabled deer hunter, what's happening, brother? How you doing? Nice to see you. All my longtime subscribers are here, which is awesome, right? I've been making videos for a long time. I thought about that the other day too. I think I started making videos in like 2009 or something, 2010. Boy, what a whole nother world that was. But what are we at? 28 minutes, 29 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, so I was home and I was just kind of cleaning things up, and I rode the bike today. I rode that GSXR today, and I put it away, and I looked at it and I said, man, plugged it into the battery tender, and I said, I haven't done any videos on this. And then I said, well, you know what? It's early enough. I think some people might still be awake enough and want to hang out and do a live chat with me. You know, I'm dehydrated because we actually had a really nice day today, and I was outside. It's windy, but it was a beautiful day today. I just got beat up. I think that's it. I think that's it. What were we talking about? Oh, Justin. That's right. Big inspiration. That's fantastic. Um, I don't know. I liked it. I like the creativity of being able to work with my hands. That's the other thing too that I miss a lot. I try to tell people that, or explain that to people when they ask me, but I miss that. I miss the projects I used to be able to do. Um, I don't know. It's weird. I feel I'm stifled in my creative outlet. I enjoyed fixing things. I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy remodeling kitchens and remodeling bathrooms and doing tile jobs and replacing windows and that kind of stuff. And I enjoy doing that. And I don't do that anymore with as much of a frequency as I used to. I mean, even with the apartments, I don't do a lot of the remodels anymore. I've punted most of that stuff. I'm just kind of doing service work now, just light duty stuff, which I should be happy for because I'm making the same money, right? It's all time and materials for them. It's all hourly rate. And they call me up to do stuff like, hey, can you replace a faucet here? And, hey, I got a 4 hour minimum. So that faucet's going to take me about an hour. So if you have any other things in the building, you're paying me for 4. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But what are you going to do? You're right, Mr. Beefsteak. Justin, you're right. Honesty and integrity are rare these days, which keep you in high demand. That's the honest truth. The thing I've always noticed in the trades is that it leaves a lot of room for addicts to be able, and functioning addicts and non-functioning addicts to be able to work. And the problem that I always had when I was working was just that. And when I was working for myself, it was hard for me to keep employees because just the honesty and the integrity, and boy, just things would happen, weird stuff would happen on job sites, and I'm just like, gosh darn it, which is the majority of the time it was me and one other person. There was one other guy that I trusted that worked with me, but for the most part, it was just me that worked for myself because, you know, I trust myself. But honesty and integrity, that will get you through every time. And that is definitely rare in the trades. It's definitely rare in the kind of the general residential and light commercial repair industry because there's a lot of flakes out there. Um, you don't, if you don't gouge somebody, you charge them fair, you give them an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, you're going to get repeat customers. And that's all I have dealt with. The first few years you take whatever you can just to get your name out there, but then you can start whittling away that list a bit and just stay true to yourself so you can look in the mirror at the end of the night and know that you're doing good work. Any tips, trips to El Rancho in the near future? If you live closer, I'd put you to work. uh, well said. Um, I do have actually there. I was up the last time I was up. I was up for Thanksgiving for like 8 days, and then I did 2 weeks. So last week in December, first week in January for Christmas and my birthday, and then I haven't been up since. I've been trying to get Skippy and Skippy Jr. along for a work trip. We got one other guy he's the other guy's been in a couple of my videos. I think he's been up there twice. I did notice in December that I had a few trees that are down. One of them's across the creek, so we need to get that dragged back on the easy side of the creek so we can make that either into sawmill food. Oh, that was the other thing too. I had last year, I didn't do a lot of videos of the ranch last year because it's just we had issues last spring, and I do have video of it. I took video of it, but I never uploaded it. Of us using the sawmill, and we cut a bunch of boards and we cut some beams because I'm replacing a porch off the first floor bedroom at El Rancho, and I just hadn't got to it. But yeah, we do. I do. I need to get up there before at least one trip, probably two before July. So maybe Memorial Day, which is what, the end of May. I'd like to get up there sooner, but it's really wet up there. We got a lot of snow and a lot of rain. I know of 3 trees right now. There, where my house sits up there, there's a gentle downslope down to the creek. It's maybe 100 yards down to the creek. I do know in that distance there's 3 trees that are down, good sized trees, and 2 of them are on land, and one of them, like I said, crossed over the creek. So they're going to be a bit tricky to get out of there, but they're kind of in the way. We do have trips scheduled to El Rancho. Oh, did you see that? I guess it's dark enough that my inside lights are coming on. That's the other thing too. That's super cool. I bought these solar. There, it just turned off. I just bought, not I just bought, but I bought some solar powered work lamps, like the motion activated double lamps. There it is, right there, with the little solar panel that you mount. And I put them in. I bought two of them. I put one of them in my garage. Now, hold on. I gotta address this. I put one in my. It's gonna flick like we're on a strobe light. Let's see if I can trick it here to turn off. Put my surgical light on the light sensor, and then we can carry on our convo. What's going on here? Come here. There it goes. Go sleep. There it goes. Go back to sleep. So dumb. Solar powered yard lights with dawn to dusk and the little sensor head. And I put one in my garage and I put one in my shop out here, so I don't have to come out and turn on a light. I put the solar panel outside to get its sun. Thing is mounted inside just over the door. So if I open the door to the shop in the evening, I just wave my hand and the light turns on, and then I could do whatever I have to do here, whether it's if I want to do actual work, I actually flick the lights on. But if I'm just putting something away, it gives good light, and as well as the kitchen, garage. It's been a long day. Goodness. If I'm like doing laundry or something, I don't even have to turn the light on. I'm missing some comments here. What did I do? I scrolled up the comments. Sorry. James Mitchell's been waiting for a video. It's good to see you live. What's up, James? Welcome to my yammering for the last 37 minutes 15 seconds. it has been a while since I've done a video, and I miss it. I miss, because it's fun. I don't know. Most of the time it's fun making videos of the projects, and I've had so many projects over the last year that I didn't film, and it bums me out a little bit, because it's always, I don't know. It's nice to kind of chronicle the dumb stuff I get into. But we did a lot of sawmill work. Skippy and his son, Skippy Jr., and me up at El Rancho. We had 3 trips last year where we cut up a bunch of trees. As I mentioned earlier, a few into like beams, pretty good sized beams, but for the most of them is like 1-inch thick boards that we're going to use to do some skirting around the porch, as well as reconstruct a small porch and stairwell off the lower bedroom. You've been installing a ton of the lights as well as the solar powered cameras. You know, I've seen that. Disabled deer hunter. It's good to hear me yammer. That's what I do. I could talk the air out of a room. The technology on solar powered stuff is pretty phenomenal. These dumb little yard lights, I think they were $40 a piece. This little guy right here, let me spin you guys around real quick, see if I can do this without making you dizzy. There's a spinner thing here. There it is. This little guy right there. Yeah, it was like $40 or something to Home Depot. I mean, it wasn't anything, but it lights this place up real nice. There's my solar powered fan. You guys remember that one? I think I did a project on that. It's like 58 degrees. There's the backyard. It's nice and green. And there's the floor. Wait, let me turn this thing around. Okay, there we go. That's what I do. I yammer. So this thing is precariously perched. My precariously perched project here. Perfect. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, here's one of the steps I brought home. So this is one of the slabs we cut on the sawmill. It's a nice piece of pine. It's like 5 foot long. Skippy wanted to do that's the heart. This is heartwood. This is a nice piece of wood, actually. Skippy wanted to do a CNC routering project, I think. I have to get this to him, actually. I brought it home. and I've been drying it. He wants to do some CNC project for an address plate or something for his house or something, mailbox. I don't know. I brought a few of those chunks home. And I don't know. I'm just excited about having my shop accessible because this thing was just beat. It was so packed and frustratingly so. I got a lot of crap, but I threw a lot of crap away. But then I bring a lot of crap home. Why did I bring another motorcycle home? I don't know. Disabled deer hunter. You and me both taking the air out of a room. It helps when preaching, sort of. Yeah. I've always been told I'd be a good preacher. I don't know about all that, but in the process of me cleaning, you guys, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys two things. James Mitchell, what projects have I been doing? I haven't been doing a lot of projects. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but a quick recap. I've been super busy at work because I've been short-staffed for about the last year and a half, 18 months. So I've been down, like I was down to one other guy, and it's hard to run three major facilities between 55,000 square feet up to 86 acres. And then one minor facility, which is 18,000 square feet. It's hard to do that with just two people, me and another person. So I haven't been doing a lot of projects here at my house, and I've been doing just the absolute necessities at El Rancho, and that's frustrating, super frustrating. But something I want to show you. I was going to do, see, here's another thing. I was going to do a video on this, and I didn't get to it. You guys know I'm a terrible hoarder. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to diminish those that are true hoarders. I might be borderline. I think I know I have a problem. I can admit that I have a problem. But I do want to show you guys something. I'm going to take something out that I uncovered, and I don't almost say I forgot, but I almost forgot that I had these. But when I cleaned the shop out, I forgot to mention too. I started to tell this story. I'm going to tell the story. Two things, right? You got to remember two things. I'm going to tell you a story about how the beekeeper was almost no longer, and that was just this Sunday. That was just a few days ago. So the beekeeper almost took himself out inadvertently, and some cool things. I've got two types of cool things I want to show you. Okay, which one do you want to hear first? How I almost took myself out, or the cool things? First person to comment. You can do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh, wait. Cool things. All right, James, let's start with the positive. So, I brought everything out of here, put it out in the backyard. Saturday morning, I was out here. Sunday morning, I was out here at 7 a.m. The neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I don't really care. 80%, I won't say everything, but 80% of this shop went outside. And I just threw a bunch of stuff away, and I cleaned stuff out. So I want to show you something that, Scott, you came in too late. It's cool things. You will get both, Deer Hunter. You will get both. But tell me if this doesn't scream 1973, because that's when this thing was built. Let me get it. Hang on. Let me see if I can do this without knocking my camera off the thing. And see if... I have never seen anything like this before, and I totally forgot about this thing. This has never been used before. You ready? Mm-hmm. So this is a camping lantern, and it uses a charged propane cylinder. It's made by Benzomatic, right? Yeah, Benzomatic. I don't know why, I just think this is so cool. I had a lady named Helene Peckerman, who is still alive. About 10 years ago, she gave this to me. I don't need to open this up. This has never even been run before. These are the packages for the mantle. Helene, she and her husband used to go camping. She says she bought this in 1973. And then they also bought one of those pump-up Coleman, which I have right there, Coleman lanterns. You guys have all seen those. They're forest green. They've got the two mantles that hang down. They use white gas. But she said they never used this one. And she gave this to me. She gave this to me about 10 years ago. And she's probably 100, 101. She's still alive. But anyway, this sits on your table, like your picnic bench, and it's a 2 mantle lantern that runs off propane cylinder. The propane cylinder sits inside of this red sleeve. Isn't that cool? I don't know why. And it's still the original Pyrex. You see it, I don't know if you can see the writing on it. Wait a minute, where is it? Benzomatic writing on the glass. It's still got the OG Benzomatic mantles. Oh man, I don't know. I think it's super cool. I'm an idiot. Collector of shiny objects. Yeah, that's me. And then, because why do I have this many stoves? Okay. I make myself laugh. I don't know why. You guys remember, well, I don't know, maybe you do. Again, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec here. I got to, oh, easy. And remember, this is after I threw some stuff away, right? So let me set this down here. You may or may not remember, I did a video a few years back on this thing, brand new. One of these little white gas camping stoves. Okay. And there's there's no moving parts. Can you see that? It's so cool. There's no moving parts. This is from 1982, according to the receipt in the box. I inherited this from a good friend that passed away. And, you know, it's got the little key, and it works with white gas, and you flip this thing out. Right, and you open it up, and then you put a little white gas in the tray down below. It heats. It's like one of those alcohol lamps that people build out of aluminum cans, because it heats the gas, and then it vaporizes it, and then the vapors are what actually burn, and it just kind of it just generates its own. So that's that one, right? So I got one. So if one is good, see the problem with me, there's a lot of problems with me, let me tell you. I'll tell you what, is once you start looking for stuff, and by you, I mean me, once I start looking for stuff, I start finding stuff. So I thought this was a really cool stove, and I'm like, oh man, that's really neat. That would go well on my old camping trailer. White gas, right? You don't have to worry about pressurized cylinders. This one was free, right? Well, I inherited it. Somebody had to pass away for it, but I inherited this one, brand new in a box. And then I blink my eye, and I'm at a thrift store, and this one comes up. Now I was going to do a video on this one. This one's used, but I paid $1 for it. It's Swedish. It's Swedish. Take along a warm friend. It's a Swedish stove that is essentially the same thing. Right? Comes with its own little cup. There's a key in there, and it's the same thing. Okay, the little arms flip out so you can put your pot on there. Oh yeah, there's the thing for your cup. I wouldn't drink out of this. It's aluminum. I'm not interested in that, but it's cool and it works. This one I work. So right, if two is good, then I blink an eye. And these are all vintage, late 70s, early 80s. I paid 75 cents for this at a church thrift store. This one has all the instructions. It's got the key. This one I haven't fired up yet, but it has the instructions nicely yellowed over time. Now this one's been used. Let me tell you what. This one was worth every centavo. But look at that. This one somebody used this one, which is fine. There's no reason why it shouldn't work. It has the key, which is, it's just got a different. Espérate un moment, por favor. What is this for? What the hell? I don't think I've opened this one up in a long time, but it's the same concept where you flip these out. You take this lid off, you know, to fill the canister. This one's a lot of soot. This one would probably stand to be cleaned. But wait a minute here, hold on a sec. Again, I'm rambling. What in the world does this thing do? Isn't that what that is? This was inside the thing, but the end is coming off. I don't know what that is. That's not part of the stove, but... Okay, so now I have three. So So then I tell myself, I say, self, that's enough. That's enough. Self, it's enough. Cut it out. That's what I told myself, just like that. Cut it out. I'm going to tell myself that again because this isn't working. Hold on. You know what I like about these keys too is it has all the wrenches, so you can service it. I got a problem. I told you guys, I got issues. Last but not least, so 2 is good. I found this. Four. I got 3 of the old ones. This one, I promise, is the last one. This is a camp stove. Old. It is old. I haven't found a lot about this one, but so you flip open the lid. This one's never been used. So you flip this little door out. Let me see if I remember this properly. Yeah. You flip the door out, and the whole thing comes out. This is the exact same concept of, hold on, let me get it out of here. This is the exact same burning concept of those other 3, right? You put your white gas in here. The white gas feeds into this generator. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called, or generators. And then this dish underneath, you fill it with white gas and you light that on fire. That heats up the pipe that comes out of the tank, and it turns that into gas, and then this thing roars like a jet engine. But it slides in and out like that, and then you set your pot down on here. This one is super cool. I haven't fired this either, as you can see. It's never been. Oh boy. I don't know. I just thought they were super cool. Scott, which one do I like the best? This one's probably the coolest, but I know these work really well. The Swedish one works as well as the U.S. based one, Sandsport. They're the exact same. They're the same concept. eBay, here you go. I can't believe I paid 75 cents for this. I mean, and it's still in its box, but this one's really used. The one I paid $1 for and the one I inherited are not used. But they're cool because there's nothing to go wrong with them, right? This could sit on a shelf for 50 years, which it probably has. It's probably 50 years old. If I put gas in this right now, it would work fine. And I'm not worried about like a pressurized cylinder. I don't have to worry about finding pressurized cylinders or this cylinder dying. A quart, I go get a quart of camping fuel, and I could probably cook for friggin' ever. A long time. I don't know about ever. I think that's it. Okay, that's it on the cool stuff. A Chinese one would be made out of plastic, right? I do find joy in the little things, and yeah, they might be dumb, but to some people, but they make me happy, and that's all that matters. And then how I almost took myself out. So over there, there's a 3/4 horse Baldor ball bearing electric motor. A big one, electric motor. 220 single phase. It's a big one, right? It's girthy. It weighs 18 pounds. And I salvaged it out of an old HVAC unit that was getting recycled because I wanted the motor for a fan. If you've been following me a while, you may remember I took an old squirrel cage fan that I picked up for free that a friend of mine who was shutting down his plumbing shop used to use it out of, it's out of a furnace. It doesn't matter. I built a box for it. I put filters on either side, and I used it a lot at work when I was working to filter the air when I would make dust. And that thing moved a lot of cubic feet per minute. It had a half horse, 120 volt single phase motor in it that spun the squirrel cage fan, which was fantastic. But that wasn't a ball bearing motor. That was really old. It's a bushing motor. So that one's getting old. It's getting tired. So I had this Baldor that I salvaged. It had a click in the bearing. That's why it was getting replaced. I pressed new bearings in. I put it on a shelf, and I'm like, okay, when my filtration system poops the bed, and CW is in Mexico. Good old Andrew. I use that fan quite a bit, actually. And so I don't know, I've had that 3/4 horse motor about 3 years sitting on the shelf this high, this shelf, but on the end, on the shelf. So 6 feet up off the ground, right? And I put new bearings in it. The thing runs like a champ. I said, okay, you're going to remain in inventory until my half horse finally gives up the ghost. And knowing me, if it's just the bushings that are going to go bad, they're Oilite bushings. I have Oilite stock. I'm just dumb enough to probably turn new bushings for it and put that half horse back into service. But I digress. So I have this 3/4 horse motor waiting. It's on there. I'm cleaning stuff out. I'm in the process. I'm moving stuff around. I'm pulling stuff off the shelves. And I'm looking down at the ground. I'm bending down like this. I'm picking some stuff up, not paying much attention. And that motor, which weighs 18 pounds, it's a big one, decides to roll off the shelf. And it hit me in the back of the head. Mind you, I'm the only one home. I'm in my backyard. I'm in my yard, in my shop. I live alone, and I about knocked myself completely unconscious. And it's been a while since I've had a thumper like that, man. It dusted me. And so I had to take a knee, and I stood there and I was like, holy crap, what? And it took me a minute to realize what happened. It hit me so hard. It hit me right here, just below my hairline, and I just touched it, right? This just happened Sunday, a few days ago. And it came off here, and then it hit my neck and shoulders and thumped on the ground. And even though I saw the thing wallop on the ground, I was like, what the hell just hit me? It took me a few seconds to realize it, but I did realize that I was like falling out pretty quickly because it blasted me. 18-pound chunk of steel hit me in the back of the head. And so I like took a knee so I wouldn't hurt myself if I did fall out. And all I could think of is I'm gonna die in my backyard in my shop, and someone will find me on Monday when I don't show up to work. So as soon as I could, and I didn't even realize I was bleeding yet. This is how like dusted I was. But I pulled my phone out, and there's this gal that I'm dating, and I texted her, and she's not even here. She's in Olympia, Washington right now, where she lives. And I said, hey, I just hit myself in the head or something. I need you to check in on me in about 30 minutes to make sure I'm okay. And I hit send. And then, holy crap, that just blew everything up. Stupid. Anyway, and then I realized why there's liquid leaking out of my head. I was just bleeding on everything because I was bleeding all over my phone. I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, the long and the short of it is, I about killed myself. And I ended up like stumbling over to my neighbor's house, this guy on this side, and I knocked on his door, and he's a retired sheriff, but he was still like freaked out. I mean, I was just blood, and it was all over my hands. And I because I've got a twisted sense of humor, the first thing I said was, I didn't kill anybody. I'm just covered in blood. I didn't kill anybody. I said, but I need to go to the hospital. I took a shot in the back of the head. My head split open, and I'm bleeding. Corvair Wild! Hola, buenos dias, señor. ¿Cómo estás? I gotta wear a hard hat, man. I'm gonna have to start wearing a football helmet, for sure. So I stumble over to my neighbor's house there and knock on his door, and I say, hey man, I didn't kill anybody, but you need to, I really need to go to the hospital, and I don't have anybody here that can take me, and I'm certainly not gonna drive. So he says, all right, let me grab my keys. And he brought me out a towel, and we wrapped my head up in a towel. And I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I'm going to bleed all over your car. I'll pay to have it detailed. He's like, I don't care, whatever. So we go up to the hospital. I get myself a good concussion. They glued my head back together because I didn't want to deal with staples necessarily. I'm like, man, if you put staples in my head, I'm going to have to come back. I want you to just glue it, and I'll just take it easy. which they did. And so I've had a headache like all week, and my neck is sore. I don't know. I don't know. If that thing was up on the top shelf, if that was on this shelf, that'd be an extra, that's like 24 inches higher. I don't know. It hit me right here in the soft spot, too. And I'm touching it. It's right here. It hit me right in the soft spot at the back of your head. And yeah, I probably did myself a little brain damage, but what are you going to do? The beekeeper was, yeah, head wounds do bleed a lot. And that's true. And I've, Bienny too. I'm doing all right, Mr. Andrew. I'm doing all right. You're right. Hey, Patrick, what's up? Not as bad as my motorcycle accident. You're absolutely right. That one, if you'll remember, January 15th, 2020. Yeah, radial fracture of my, the socket part here of my humerus. And then I broke a bone in my hand and broke a couple fingers. All I can say is I had a good attorney for that. So that goes towards my retirement fund. But this one, it's still, my neck is really sore, more so than my head. It's weird. My head hurts on the outside, not on the inside. I don't have like an actual headache, but my neck feels like I was playing football or something. Yeah. Yeah. Andrew, your last day, 3 weeks in La Paz. You're heading for LA tomorrow, San Francisco, then driving an 81 Bonneville 5.7 diesel east. Awesome. Hey, let me know when you're in San Francisco. You still have my number, Andrew? Corvair Wild? You still got my number? Let's go dumpster diving for some food or something. I know some good restaurants. Maybe we'll grab lunch. Let's go grab lunch when you're in the city or roundabouts, if you have a minute when you're there. I am too old to be a stuntman. You're absolutely right. That is not a career I need to make right now. But I think about that. Of course, when you're sitting there and they're like looking in your eyes and they're scanning your head looking for bleeds and stuff, and they're like, do you have a history of head injuries? And I'm like, well, if you knew me when I was 20 years old, yeah, I probably do have a history of head injuries and various scars. If you look at all the scars on my head, they'd read like a road map. Andrew, yeah, cool. You do have my number. Perfect. Yeah, give me Corvair Wild. Give me a jingle when you're in the city, like I said, or around and about. I'll meet you somewhere, whatever's convenient for you, and let's go have a bite to eat. I'd love to meet you. You crazy son of a gun. James Mitchell, you love dumpster diving. I remember, I don't know, GPLE, he says he's got it. I know I've got his number. Um, dumpster diving. Who made that comment? James, if you ever watch Corvair Wild's videos years ago, he's got a lot of videos. It might be hard to find at this point. He used to go into dumpsters and like find good food and viable food, and would eat food out of dumpsters and stuff, which always made me laugh because I'm like, yeah, why not? it's food. The food's good. Because his tenants would throw stuff away, and on the flip side, I haven't bought like household cleaning products in at least 15 years. And I say that, and I have a hell of an inventory boxed up in my garage, because people when they move out of these apartments, they don't take much with them. Who wants to pack their dish soap and their sponges and laundry detergent, all that stuff that you can just buy anywhere. So they leave it behind. And when I would go in and I would remodel these rentals, or get them rent ready, whatever the process was to get them rent ready, I'd go through and I'd clear stuff out. And they'd leave. I've got some fantastic cast iron pots that people would leave behind because they're like, well, that's heavy. I don't want to pack that. So I have probably 30 containers of like Myers dishwashing soap and Myers hand soap. Some of them are partially used, but for the most part, there's a lot of new stuff. I probably have 50 sponges, kitchen sponges, like the blue ones with the scrubber on one side and a blue sponge on the other. Um, I never really picked food out of stuff, but like pots and pans, I used to have quite an inventory when I had shops. I had 2 shops that I rented when I was in my heyday. And whenever I would do remodels, I would keep refrigerators and that were good, and washers and dryers, because tenants would move and they'd leave a washer and dryer behind, because again, they didn't want to transport. Oh, we're moving cross country, and it's more expensive to transport a washer and dryer cross country than it is to just buy new ones when they get to their place. And usually the landlords are like, "No, we're not renting with a washer and dryer because then we're liable for it. So make it go away." So I would make them go away. So for more than a decade, my people who were my people, my friends, knew that they would always call me first. Hey, you got a white dishwasher hanging around or a stainless steel one? Yeah, I've got 3. You have to come and get it. I'm not bringing them to you because I got to put some value on this. Refrigerators too. I would do remodels on kitchens that had fairly new refrigerators, and I would keep those and I stored those. And just like within the last year, no, December. Holy crap. December was, so I'm only down to 1 shop right now. That's right. December of last year, the other projects I was working on. December of last year, I got rid of one of my storage places, and that one was pretty big. That was 900 square feet or something. That was a big space. That was a big space. I had a lot of stuff in there, and I just blowing stuff out the all of last year pretty much. Just getting rid of refrigerators, and I had stoves, and I had microwaves. I had all the stuff I had been pulling out of apartments that it was just kind of too good to go away. And all my friends, I did kind of a blanket page, and or blanket page, a blanket message. It was like, hey, if there's anything you want, do you want a second fridge? You want any of this stuff? Just come and get it. It's free. I'm not charging a penny for it. Anything that was left over, I threw on Craigslist for fairly dirt cheap, and got most of that stuff out. And then the stuff that was kind of marginal, I called my scrap metal guy and had him haul the rest of it out. But yes, yes, dumpster diving is fun. You're driving up Pacific Coast Highway 1 Friday or so. Fantastic. Highway 1 is such a nice ride. CW. I when I first got that GSXR running, which is February, I went down Highway 1 because that is very close to my house. And I went all the way down to, I put about 100 miles on that bike. And I mentioned earlier, here we are 67 minutes into this. I mentioned earlier that my philosophy behind motorcycles is just the freedom to get on the road and enjoy the ride and not be burdened with stereos and all this crap that people pile onto their bikes, plus all the gear that they put into all these bags, saddlebags and fairings and all this crap. I don't want any of that. So when I got the sport bike running, I said, okay, here we're gonna. I didn't bring even a tool. I was the only tool that was on that bike. It was me and a fully charged cell phone. And I proceeded to put 150 miles or so on that bike. I drove down to Monterey, up Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway, and it was beautiful. I like Highway 1. It's fun. It's fun. It's good stuff. Um, Room to hoard. What's up, Gear Griden? What's up, Danny? How you doing? Kevin B. What's up and what's happening? I just thought I'd throw together. Well, it's not quick anymore. We're 68 minutes into it, but I thought I'd throw together just a quick live chat and be out here and just kind of BS a little bit on a Thursday night because I'm not working tonight for some reason. I thought I'd come home and get some laundry done, but clearly I'm out here goofing around for the last hour. James Mitchell, I go dumpster diving every day and find all kinds of great things. I got my kids into it too. Jeff Hardy says he's been thinking about Corvette Wild and wondering how you were doing since I never see you on the YouTube anymore. Yeah, Mr. Corvette Wild. Corvette Wild. I haven't seen a video from you in ages, but that's okay. I haven't put up an official video since last October, so I did a couple shorts like I mentioned earlier because those are kind of cheating. And I need to. I want to. How about that? I want to start putting some videos back together and getting on here. What up, Gear? Gear, I've been watching your gardening videos, by the way. I don't always comment on videos because sometimes I don't feel like I've got anything productive to add. But Gear, I've been keeping up on you, and your gardening, and your shorts. You've been. I mean, I'm not like looking at your shorts, not your shorts, but your video shorts. You know what I mean, right? I keep looking over here because I've got my laptop over here, so I don't have to squint at the camera. I'm doing this on my phone. And got home, finished eating supper a bit ago. Seemed to be live. Here I am. Thanks for stopping in, Gear. Appreciate you doing that. Oh, look at that. It's dark outside now. The light was on when I was here. It's a balmy 54 degrees right now at 8:08 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anyway, yeah, Corvair Wild. Let me know. Friday's fine. I'll be around this weekend. Faux show. And we'll go somewhere. We'll meet somewhere on the coast if you want. But I was telling the story. So I rode down to Monterey, California, on that sport bike. It's like 153, 163 miles, something like that each way. In the morning, the bike ran beautifully. I got down there, stopped at a coffee shop. I had some little baked good and a cup of coffee. Sat out there and watched the waves for a minute, turned around and rode home. Not a problem, because I didn't have any tools on me. So I had a stern talking to with that bike and said that if it was going to break down, I was going to push it in the ocean. So it didn't. It got me home. Got the same 7 vehicles, or downsize those 2. No. Disabled deer hunter, he's got a jet. Solo dad duty in the morning. Blessings, my friend. Yes, blessings to you as well. Have a great evening. Bless you, man. Appreciate you stopping in. I don't have the same 7 vehicles. I sold the Suburban in January. A neighbor had been eyeballing that thing. I had been parking it at my mom's house because I just had too many vehicles in front of my house. And he's like, hey, you ever want to get rid of that? And I said, yeah. I put like 50 miles on it last year. And just to basically keep the wheels round. And he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So down the road it went. And that's okay. I've owned that car for 94. I bought that car in 94. That truck in 94. Yeah, I was like 5 years old when I got that thing. So that's a great truck, though. That's the only one well, actually, yeah, I guess I do. So I got rid of the Suburban, but I still have the same cars. I still have the GTO, the Dodge truck, the Toyota truck, the red Bug, the yellow Bug. 5 cars. And I have 3 motorcycles now. But that sport bike's going to go. That's going to go probably June. I'm going to wait. I wanted to wait for the weather to turn into motorcycle riding because only hardcore dummies like me ride year round. I don't care. I'll ride in the rain. I'll ride when it's 40 degrees out. That doesn't bother me. But the sport bike guys are a little thin-skinned. And I knew I wouldn't get any good bites. And sorry if I offend anybody that's a sport bike guy because I'm a sport bike guy. I've got all 3, sport bike, dual sport, and Harley. But I knew my market for a sport bike would be better suited around May, June, July, when the weather here in Northern California is nice. So I got that bike in December, got it running in January, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to take some pictures and put it on Craigslist, and it'll go. You quit the shorts on a daily basis, but still upload here and there. Yeah, Mr. Singer, Mr. Gear, the singer there. I put up a few shorts, and they're easy. And actually, I just got a new phone. This is my work phone, and I had an iPhone 7 for the last 5 years, and it was just starting to glitch and funk. And now I've got an iPhone 13. I don't really care if I'm an Android or an iPhone person, but this phone's got better memory and better cameras, and it's actually pretty nice. I just got this phone yesterday, so maybe the shorts will be more of a thing. Gardening season has begun, but we have a few days of nights close to freezing, and a week after that it's rain all week. Well, freezing can be tricky, especially Gear, since you do everything in buckets, right? You're all, for the most part, above ground. So sometimes that thermal cold schmutz can get to your roots. Give them little blankies. The Chevy guy, what's happened? Yeah, the Suburban went down the road. It had to. I was never driving it since I got the Dodge truck. Um, that was kind of the whole. My kids are grown. The Suburban was my family truckster, and I drove all many states with that thing. Put a ton of miles on it with my kids and my now ex-wife. But I didn't need a Suburban anymore. I needed a pickup, and when I had that red Dodge truck, because I was beating the daylights out of my poor Toyota, because it's just not. It's a quarter ton two-wheel drive truck, right? So I bought that red Dodge Cummins powered truck, but that was a two-wheel drive, and I got myself in over my head a couple times at El Rancho in two-wheel drive. So when I was looking for that Dodge, that was the love child of the Suburban and the two-wheel drive red Dodge truck. So essentially, when I bought the white Dodge, that's a four-door, four-wheel drive, three-quarter ton diesel manual transmission. I didn't need the Suburban anymore because I need a pickup truck more than I need a Suburban because my kids are all grown and they're off doing their own thing. And most of the time, it's just me and the dog driving around. So the Suburban was sitting. It was sitting the last couple years. In 2 years, I maybe put 200 miles on it, 150, 200 miles on it. And one of the neighbors that lives in my mom's neighborhood, and I know, he asked me if I was willing. And I said, give me a number. And he gave me a number. And I'm like, yes. So down it went. Oh, the Blazer. Yeah, no, I still have all the ranch rigs. God, I forgot. I didn't even count those. See, my hoard is spread out over a couple of states. Ridiculously silly. I do have that blue S10 Blazer. That's a 93 or 94. I don't remember exactly. I think it's a 94 with the 4.3 liter fuel injected. That little S10 Blazer I still have. I still have the 46 Dodge. I'm looking to sell the 8N tractor. Got that running. That was real nice in the winter. I moved a lot of snow with that in the winter, but I got my eyeballs out for something a little heavier duty, preferably four-wheel drive. We'll see what comes my way, but that Ford, that 8N, it's a 47, 46, 47, I forget, something like that. It's a great little rig, but it's got to go. It's time for that one to go too. But I want to find a new tractor. I mean, unless somebody comes and says, I want that tractor, then I'll sell it. But I still need it as a functional tractor until I find a replacement. Do I have there's a weird draft in here. I thought I had a fan on. That's weird. I guess there's a shift in the weather outside. The weather outside is frightful. Goodness. Yes, I do have that vintage dump truck at the ranch. That's the 46 Dodge dump truck. I actually had that running this summer too. I'm so horrible in my videos. My Delco 6-volt battery's right here. That's the battery charger when I started this live stream. That was buzzing because I bring the 6-volt battery home. But yeah, I had that one running. I fired it up with the crank start, with the hand starter, because it starts so much easier with that because you're not running, because it's a 6-volt system, so you're not running the voltage down with a starter. So the voltage to the ignition, the coil, can stay good voltage. So when you fire that thing up by hand, it actually starts easier. What did it do with the old truck? Chevy guy says he has the iPhone 14 Pro 256. Is that 256 gigs? This one is 64 gigs. My iPhone 7. So I went from a 7 to a 13. That is, I'm still getting used to no home button. That 7 had 16 gigs. No, it had 32 gigs, I think, of memory. That's a huge leap. Which old truck, James? 256 gigs. Good night. That is awesome. No, you know why I don't have a flip phone anymore is because AT&T got rid of, that was a 3G. I love that thing. If you guys don't remember, up until I got this job with this nonprofit 5 years ago, January made 5 years. I had a flip phone, and I was perfectly happy with it. A 3G flip phone. Okay, here's a blast from the past. When I used to text message people, T9 baby, those thumbs were ripping through T9 texts on that tiny little. I had the QWERTY keyboard that would slide out, and I would do this T9. I'm an old guy. I'm an idiot. And then I got a smartish phone 5 years ago. So I went from a 5-year-old iPhone 7 to this one is still used, right? So this was one of my employees because we give phones out. It's a part of the employment is you get a work phone, or you can choose to use your own phone, and I'll give you $50 a month reimbursement for keeping your phone on and answering it during the workday. And this phone here was brand new for a guy that left the end of last year. So this phone's only a few months old. So it's kind of nice, man. 64 gigs. I mean, for me, that's huge, right? I think. No more flip phone. I like my flip phone. But I still have my work phone. So up until I had AT&T, this is Verizon. I had AT&T on that phone at 3G, and AT&T finally like shut that system down. I think a year ago. I do believe it was a year ago. It was last February, if I'm not mistaken. They finally shut down their 3G network, and they're like, dude, you need a new phone. So I do have a smartphone. It is an Android-based smartphone because it was inexpensive. It was in my price range, and I use that for work. I still use that for my personal work. This is my work phone. Yeah, that old Dodge is still there. I'm gonna hold on to that one for a while. That is an extremely functional piece of equipment. Way more functional to me on a daily than the 8N. So I'm gonna find a new home for that 8N eventually. But like I said, I need to find another tractor first because I do use that tractor several times a year, and it's come in very handy for the sawmill. The work we did, Skippy and Skippy Jr. this year or last year on the sawmill, it's just easier to move logs around with a front loader than it is to try to drag stuff with a quad. You record in 4K, man, that's fancy. It's so fancy. 256 gigs, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm digging this new phone. More irrelevant stuff. That's about it. I think that's about it, honestly. We're, what, 80 minutes into it. Goodness. I'm almost done with my mountain spring water, fresh from the Cascade Mountains of Southern Oregon. Yeah, I don't know if you probably can't see. There's quite a knot on the back of my head. It's ridiculous. I get myself killed by some stupid electric motor that I'm trying to salvage. I don't even know what caused it to roll. I don't even know if I rolled or moved anything. Waylon Wires Old Iron. Hello, sir. Good night. How are you? We're in the same time zone here. I'm doing all right, sir. I'm doing all right, Mr. Ken. I look less stressed. I feel less stressed. Yeah, life is okay right now. Honestly, it's I can't complain. I've had better, but I've certainly had worse. It's good. Just trying to stay ahead of things. And now that I have staff at work, I can breathe a little bit. That's my plan for 2023 is to breathe. Pretty simple, it seems like. You're better than you deserve. Now, sir, you've got quite a slice of paradise up there. Oh, how did I get myself? Okay, ADD. I must have brushed up against. Oh, that's the other thing too. I had, remember that air tank? I had my compressor air tank that I made a fire pit out of. I oil that when I'm done with it, right? Like you'd oil an old cast iron. I had a fire going in there on Saturday. Just sitting out there drinking some fresh Cascade Mountain, Southern Oregon water. And I must have brushed against it because now I got oil all over my pantaloons. Goodness. That's the other thing, Gear. I don't think anybody that, I don't tell anybody at work that I have a YouTube channel, so I can't imagine they're going to watch this. But it was a challenge for me when I was interviewing for my positions because, as I mentioned earlier, I've been short-staffed now for about a year and a half, and I'm finally very close to being fully staffed as of about a month ago. So I have 3 guys right now that are on probation. There's a 6-month probation, but that'll bring me. I need one more person, and then I'll be fully staffed. And then come August 1st, I need to hire 3 more because we're opening up a new facility. But that's a whole nother ball of wax. It's hard when I'm doing interviews because half of me is like desperate. I don't want to say desperate. That's not right. The word eager to have a body in a spot, but I just the last couple of years, all I've been is a highly paid babysitter, and it's Skook. What's up, Skook? How you doing? Am I from Michigan? No, I'm from California, actually. Got to get the GTO back. Chevy guy. I have to find the keys. I gotta find it. They're in my garage somewhere, and it burns my buns that I lost the keys to that car. I've had that car for since I was 17. So what? That's like 34 years, 33 years. I've had that car a long time. The original set of keys, and I lost them somewhere in my garage, and it just grinds my gears. Tell you what. Bradley, hello, Bradley. You needed 12 people and not one person answered the ad. They'd rather sit at home and play video games. You know, you're absolutely right, Waylon. So, those of you that may not know Waylon Wire's Old Iron, he's a grafter and he's in Washington, but he travels all over the state. Sometimes he even comes down to California. He has traveled down to California. I don't know if you do that anymore. But his work doing tree grafting, cherries and apples and whatnot, it's pretty labor intensive. Sounds like he treats his people pretty well. Sounds like he pays them pretty well. But Waylon, I find the same thing. I had a guy leave. I hired him and I explained, you're a facilities maintenance associate. You're doing mechanical work. You're doing this, that, and the other thing. He lasted about a month and he said, I just don't like getting dirty. You don't like getting dirty. That's why you're leaving. So now when I do interviews, I go through a whole spiel about, you're going to get dirty. I have a uniform allowance. I'll put you in work clothes. I give you rubber gloves, endless supply of rubber gloves, eye protection, respiratory protection, whatever you need to go home at the end of the day healthy and relatively clean. But and people look at me like I'm crazy most of the time. And I'm like, no, I got to explain this because I've had people say, hey, I don't like getting dirty. I love getting, you're right. I love getting dirty and greasy too. And I like it. But I think we're cut from a different cloth there, Ken. Honestly, when I'm up at the ranch, at the end of the day, when you're just sweaty and you're filthy top to bottom because you've been out in the dirt and you've been wrenching on stuff or whatever you've been doing, and you just sit back and you have a mason jar full of some cold mountain water. I don't know, man. That's a good feeling. But I don't think there's a lot of people that still feel that way. So that's the thing too. You mentioned that people just want to sit home and play video games, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I get that a lot with people that I'm looking to hire, and then they wonder why they don't get promotions. Right? They're like, well, why can't I get that promotion? And I'm like, well, you got to apply for the promotion first of all. Nothing. I love to hire internal. But you go home after work and you put a pizza in the toaster oven, you take a shower. This is a person. You put a pizza oven and you take a shower, you come out of the shower, you eat your pizza, you smoke a bunch of weed, and you play video games all night. So you're not bettering yourself. You're not learning a new skill. You're not learning anything. You're not putting forth any other effort than status quo. And then you complain that you can't status quo. Yes, Waylon's an OG YouTuber. That's true. Anyway, it is a good tired. It's a very, very good tired, and I like that. And honestly, I work myself to exhaustion on a very regular basis because I sleep really well at night. Otherwise, I don't sleep that well because my mind's always going. As Waylon Wire's Old Iron says, would you say your mind is a terrible place at night or something like that to go in at night or something? what is it? You'll have to forgive my quote, and I'm not trying to get your quote, but it's my mind at night, man. It runs, and I'm thinking about stuff that I want to do and this and that, and it's hard for me to sleep. And I don't really drink much alcohol anymore, and I certainly don't do any, like, I don't do prescriptions or anything to help me sleep. So hard work is the only thing I got, man. I just wear myself out, and then I sleep. I sleep good. I sleep good. Tree grafting is phenomenal, and he actually has. I don't know if you're aware, Waylon Wire's Old Iron has a second channel. If I'm not mistaken, it's called All About Grafting. That surprisingly enough, the videos are all about grafting, and it's a learned skill. Just the mechanics of it are it's absolutely fascinating. I've watched. Ken, I'm not fanboying on you now, but I watched all your grafting videos. Oh, rats. Sorry, guys. Let me try that again. My phone is precariously perched. I'm not fanboying, but I do watch all your grafting videos, and I watch all your main channel videos too. But the mechanics of how you cut scion, right? You cut the little stick in a certain way, and then you cut the host a certain way, so you can, and then you paint. It's just it's cool. And then now you've got a different species or multiple species growing on a single base. The grafting is very, very cool, and it's a game of patience, which is just, I don't know. I think it's neat. I think it's neat. GTO burnout. Yeah, you needed 12 people. Not one person answered the ad. They'd rather sit at home and play video games. That's true. That's frustrating. Kenneth Anderson. Oh, I think I answered this. No, I'm not from Michigan. I'm from the frustrating state of California, and I split my residency between California and the less frustrating state of Oregon. Although there's a lot of people from California in Oregon that are kind of ruining thing. Oregon is not the state I remember as a kid, but that's a whole nother conversation we can have. Sorry, I'm reading the comments on my laptop here. If you're fresh. Yeah, I put them somewhere. Those GTO keys are somewhere. And like I said, for the last 30 plus years, they always hang in the same spot. All my keys always go in the same spot because I have a lot of vehicles and I hate looking for keys. And I remember in my head thinking, why am I putting the keys here? Because this is not where they should go. I'll remember where they are. And they've been missing since for probably close to a year. And I've just been pissed. And now I don't want to look at the car. God. Oh, I'm such a child in my own head. Yeah, facilities guys, I don't like getting dirty. Exactly. So I have to explain things to people. You're gonna get dirty. Ugh. And then they look at me like like I'm I'm silly. Oh well, what are you gonna do? And these are the people that didn't take care of me when I'm old, maybe. I don't know. That's right, you're not working hard enough. Skoke. Second that. Wait, what did Gear say? What's everybody second? The best sandwich has brake dust and berry grease on it. It's true. A little gritty. Brake dust. Yes, your mind is a scary place. You should never go there alone. That's what it is. That's true. I can relate to that. Wait, nope, that's not it. My mind is it's like a bad neighborhood. You should never go there alone. That's better. That actually is it. You're right. Your mind is like a bad neighborhood. You shouldn't go there alone. The Chevy guy. I've been on YouTube since 2006. I created my channel in 2006. I spent a couple years just kind of watching and going back and forth. And I think it was 2008 is when I started kind of like uploading videos. And I was uploading videos pretty regularly back in the old days when YouTube used to support small channels, and they would encourage small channels, which is just the fiber of what YouTube was, and it was so much fun back then. And then the last several years, they had, what do they call it, adpocalypse or some silly thing going on. And I never did this to to earn a living. I mean, yeah, I monetize my videos, but I never like depended on YouTube money. But it was kind of fun because when you get some YouTube cash, I'd buy a new project. But and that really tapered off the last several years. They've I mean, clearly, if you paid attention to YouTube, um, they're trying to stay relevant because there's a lot of other social media platforms that have taken the eyes off of YouTube. I mean, YouTube does Shorts now, which is essentially a ripoff of TikTok. Um, Instagram's out there too. I'm on Instagram. I have an Instagram account, and you're welcome to follow it if you want to throw me. I do have it private because I do have some private stuff on there. But y'all are my friends. If you want to get on it, just go to like my main page here on YouTube, find the Instagram link, and then send me a friend request. I've been kind of absent on that as well, just because time hasn't allowed me to do, and I should be. That's so easy. Take a picture, upload it. It's so easy to get on that. Mm, that's right, Mr. Skook, working on that property in NorCal. So yeah, so I've been making videos on YouTube since about 2008 or 2009. I was such a young lad back then. I didn't have all this gray hair. I had more hair on my head. Gary Gray, not fanboying, but the nervous fanboy shakes. Not. I love Ken. Whalen Whalen Wire's Old Iron. I enjoy everything you put up, and I watch all your videos. And again, not fanboying, but if I'm ever in your neighborhood, man, I'm gonna reach out to you somehow, and I'd love to have a cup of coffee. Or I don't drink sweet tea, but I would do regular black tea, or even a cup of coffee. And I'd bring a pie for pie night. You still do that, Waylon? You still do pie nights in your shop? Goodness. Yes, the cuts have to be true and straight for grafting. It's cool. Like I said, I've watched enough of Hey, what's going on with the comments here? Um, stand by. Where you guys just you like take them and you go. I mean, your knives are very specific. Your movements are very. I like that. I dig that kind of work. I love tools that are purpose built, and I like talents and skills that are just honed to that point of perfection where you and Victor are just you're just preparing, and it's cool. I think that's super cool. Again, not fanboying, but I'm just saying. Captain 85, good to see you. You're going to listen while you're in the shower. Hmm. Hands above the waist. Sorry, I dropped you. Chevy guy, 14 years on the YouTube. It's funny how time goes, right? Goodness. Not multiple varieties on one tree. You can do that, but on a commercial basis, you're changing to more profitable varieties. Right. You're right. Um, I think you've talked about that before where and you're right, that's probably not much of a commercial application where you've got an apple tree that's got two or three different types of apples on them. Um, I one of the buildings I do work for, the guy has a vineyard, and it's beautiful vineyard. And I've done videos of that actually with me in the Napa Valley, and he's got three houses on his vineyard, and I've done a lot of remodeling up there over the years. And he talks about that too. They tore out like 80 acres of vines, and they planted some new stuff because that's what's profitable. And grapes are similar to cherries and apples. I feel that in the morning. Yes, you will. Yeah, James Mitchell says he cut his mom's apple tree about 3 foot high. Yeah, apple trees are very short, and now the tree is blooming like crazy. When they've got, and far be it for me to be the expert on this stuff, but apple trees, they produce those little suckers, and if they've got a significant root base, and yeah, they're gonna push up those little suckers, and then your man is bent. You should never go there. T-shirt material, yep, Skoke, it is. YouTube hardly pays anything anymore, at least not for the little guys like me. You're right, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't pay anything anymore, and it's down for me, probably. And again, I never did it with the intention to earn a living. I did it because it was fun. And I've got a brother that lives on the East Coast, and I know he likes watching the stupidity that I get into on a regular basis. So that was like my initial motivation. And then it just kind of blossomed from there. And back when they would promote small channels, it made a difference. The AdSense revenue was kind of nice. It was nice to kind of offset just kind of mad money, nothing crazy. At least not for me. I'm not going to go out and, buy crazy stuff with it, but it was a couple bucks. You got regular stubs, but I look now at and I still get monthly checks from AdSense, but it's like a quarter of what it used to be. So it's just hardly paying. Anyhow, Corvair Wild just walked in your Airbnb last day in Baja, 5 minutes from the airport. Fantastic, Andrew. Like I said, man, when you're driving up the coast, when you're coming up I-1, you got my number. Give me a holler. We'll grab a bite to eat somewhere. Or like I said, we'll go find a dumpster behind a hotel or something and find some food. YouTube has burnt everyone. Yeah. Corvair Wild, you got 10,000 videos in 15 years. Yeah, you're a machine, dude. You're crazy. I shouldn't, not crazy. Crazy in a good way. You are a machine. In your heyday, you were cranking out videos. Shallow. Ken, you don't drink the sweet tea anymore? That's right, you're off the sugar, right? You've dropped a few lbs, so maybe you're off the sugar. Peter, hello from Thailand. Hey, Peter, how are you? Yes, Corvair Wild wears gloves. He wears gloves on everything. Oh, wait, I'm getting caught. Absolutely, you're always welcome. Thank you. We haven't had pie night since COVID. Has it been that long? COVID seems like it was yesterday, but you realize that was like 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago that we've been living with the stupidity of whatever it is we're living with. I still got my hands dirty though. Kevin B had bypass surgery. Oof. I hope you're feeling better. I know bypass surgery works. Not, I can't speak from personal experience, but the people that I know that have had bypasses, they usually don't realize that they just they as their circulation is failing, they kind of just get used to it and they just kind of accept it, and then they'll usually have an incident where they end up in a hospital and the doc's like, yeah, you need a bypass, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many, and then they're like, wow, I didn't realize how limited my movements were and my breath was and all that stuff. So I'm glad you're still with us, Kevin, and I hope you do feel better. Corvair Wild wears gloves everywhere. It's true. It's true. He single-handedly keeps the latex glove industry in business. Actually, COVID's probably doing that right now. Scoop's going to plant 10 avocado trees, 10 apple trees in your property this year. Hell yeah, buddy. Put that stuff in the ground now. Never done YouTube for money, and that's a good thing. It's true. Waylon's talking about how he never did YouTube for money, and it's a good thing. I never did either. And maybe that's why I never got super, super popular, because my philosophy was, I'm just going to film what I'm doing on a regular basis so you can see who I am and what I'm about. So much of social media, and okay, where's my soapbox? My soapbox is right here, but I'm not going to move around too much because I don't want to knock the phone off. I'm going to stand on my soapbox. So imagine this. So much of social media is fake and it's manufactured, whether the content, the drama, so many of the successful YouTubers are the ones that create drama, or they spend a lot of money to make the videos they're making. And that was never my intention with YouTube. It was just, this is me. I'm Steve. Let's hang out with me and maybe we'll get something fun to go into. Let's rebuild something. Let's cut down some trees. Let's go play in a creek. Let's go play in the snow. Let's build tractors. Let's do something. So I never did it for money. I never expected any fame or fortune from this. It was just a fun way to sweet googly boogly. Oh, see, I moved. I think. Sorry, guys. This was kind of last minute. We're 104 minutes into this mess. What the heck is going on with my life right now? Sorry, guys. I really apologize about that. I'm going to not move around so much anymore about that. I'll sit still. because I think I shake the floor. I'm on a tripod, but it's just kind of leaning against the shoe. Sorry. Where was I? Oh yeah, never done YouTube for money, and it's a good thing. It's true because a lot of people then become extremely dependent um, on the YouTube money. And I'll never beg for, I'll never electronically beg for money either. That's something that always soured me is people they would get on there and that works for some people. Doesn't work for me. I'll never ask you for money. I'll never to telegram me. You know any of that whole scam that went on. Um, yeah, Corvette Wild. Sorry. Pays from your welding wire and a few shop supplies. That's true. That's true. That's kind of what it was. It was just it was just kind of mad money to. Man, see, I went wrong. Dirt Rooster's in the room. Where you at, fool? Oh, there you are. Sorry, I didn't mean fool. That just kind of fell out. Drama, drama, drama. Yeah, buddy. Let's see. Me, 63 Impala, Corvair Wild, MBY are still like the first channels I sub to. I know, right? It's funny. Some of those old school channels that have been around. 628 Dirt Rooster. What's up, my friend? How are you? Mississippi, right? That's a great channel if you're ever into bees. That's the other thing too. I haven't done any videos on bees right now. Up on this hill over here, where I had that foul brood that killed me off in 17. I just reintroduced bees into my yard last year. I've got 3 hives going right here. They're going really well. This was a great year for me. This is a really good year because Northern California got a ton of rain. Our snowpack is phenomenal. So there's so much flora and fauna. The bees have been extremely healthy. I haven't done any videos on it though. Sorry. Dumpster driving used to be good here until they blocked it off. That's frustrating. 80 degrees in Mexico. Good night. Come on now. Dirt Rooster's in the room. It's, it dropped. It's 50 degrees, a balmy 50 degrees here in Northern California. Waylon drinks sweet tea all day long, but I can't use real sugar. Monk fruit is pretty good. Okay. I knew sweet tea was your gig. I'm a coffee drinker most of the time, but I do like black tea. PC1 is closed near Ragged Port. Corvair Wild's driving up Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1. That runs right there from my house. Right there. I can hear the motorcycles race up Highway 1 from my backyard a lot. Usually Friday, Saturday night. They're out there with these sport bike guys. Archie Bunker. Holy crap, I haven't seen you in a minute, buddy. How are you doing? Steve, it's good to see you. How you been feeling since your accident 2 years ago? The accident was actually 3 years ago. It was January of 2020. I'm feeling really good. Quite honestly, I broke my arm and I broke my hand and I broke 2 fingers, and the only real lasting thing is this finger never straightened out. This one did. That's my important one. But this one never straightened out. The knuckle's still swollen. I tore the flexor tendon in this finger. I shattered this bone, and I tore this flexor tendon, so I can't straighten this finger out. It's kind of lumpy, but otherwise I have motion. I can like close my hand. That took almost a year for me to even bring my tip of this finger until it touched here, and I worked on it. I'm feeling good though. Thank you. It's been 3 years. And it's good to see you, Archie Bunker. It's been a minute. Blake's Garage. Long time no see. Still driving the Toyota. Damn! All the OG guys are coming out of the woodwork. What's up, Blake? Yes, man. I drive the Toyota just about every day when I'm not riding a motorcycle into work. Runs like a top. That new engine's been in there, a year at this point. I think I've got 6,000 miles, 6 or 7,000 miles on it in the last year. And it runs good, man. It gets really good gas mileage. Passed the emissions testing we have to do every other year. We have to do smog testing here in California, and it was super clean. The 5-gas thing, because my car is old, because it's mosquitoes. It's a 95, so it has to go on the treadmill. It goes on the dyno, since I don't have OBD2. on that. And the 5 gas was super clean. That truck runs really, really well. I hope to drive it a long time. Long time. That's right. Wayland had a 5-way bypass. That's a quintuple bypass, right? Listen to my language skills. And you're going strong, man. Wayland's Kenny, you're doing good. At least on the videos, you look like you're just hammering away at all your projects, and that's awesome. Kevin, 5. You still have all your vehicles and 2 Suburbans. Corvair Wild. You're almost as bad as me, but your hoard is definitely, your vehicle hoard definitely is bigger than mine, and that's okay. Corvair Wild, you can do some videos. No way. No way. Sorry, I'm reading Corvair Wild says he's got 55 vehicles. Actually, I believe that, honestly. No time soon planning on videos. No time soon. All right. All right. 55 vehicles. Goodness. Why do I do this? I'm sorry. I'm reading. I'm reading on my, again, I got my laptop over here so I can follow along with this. Where my head? Corvair Wild still says he's making videos, but he's off YouTube for a bit. I feel you on that. Yeah, broadcast yourself. It's now kind of a show out here. YouTube's weird. It's a weird world, but that's okay. I don't get too deep into YouTube. I still watch the channels that I've been watching for a long time because I like the content. Again, none of that fake manufactured stuff. It's just people doing stuff like Wayland, just like Dirt Rooster. You know those guys and Scott, you GPLE 87. You put videos up now and again talking about your stuff and your projects. I like that. I don't know. I've always liked that type of video. Not, I don't know. I like the type of video where you're just hanging out with somebody like this, like this. We're just hanging out, chatting, watching somebody do their projects. And yes, Mississippi. Okay, there we go. Waylon says it's fake, and we don't do fake. Yes, I can tell you're an authentic, and that's why we started talking. That's true. I don't edit out my idiot. Yeah, I don't. I from the beginning. Yeah, Waylon says he doesn't edit out his idiot moves. Yeah, I've never done that. I've always said from the beginning, good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to show you because it just is what it is, you know. And I've done some pretty dumb stuff, and fortunately had the camera rolling to catch it. Corvair Wild says his videos are idiotic. No, I don't think so, Corvair Wild. I mean, yeah, when you go into a hotel, you take videos of the toilet flushing and the shower heads and stuff, which just always made me laugh. But you always had fixing videos when you were um, still with Mrs. CW, and you had all those apartments you were banging around on. Those were fun to watch. But again, that's OG stuff. That goes back 10 years. Waylon says, I'll never ask for money and I'll never try to sell you anything. Yep, I don't want to be that guy not hawking free t-shirts. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You're right. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And there's a lot of guys that have merch and they plug merch and, um, and they've got Patreon and if that's your gig and if you're watching this and you got that and that works for you, that's fantastic. But that's not me. I'm not going to do that. So that's just not me. That's not what my channel's about. Life before smartphones. Yeah, no kidding. Need more horsepower. That's right. Scott used to put out videos. 60 degrees down where you're at, Skook, and black tea is good. That's right. Corvette Wow, what a name I haven't heard in years. I don't know if he is still buying diesels. Oh, so Captain 85, somebody's probably asked, but we're still waiting on that Yamasaw. So the Yamasaw works, actually. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I mean, we're almost 2 hours into this live stream when I only said I was going to do 30 minutes. I was going to wait until my water was done. But I've been talking so much, my spring water is not done. And here we are 113, 14 minutes into it. The Yamasaw absolutely did amazing this last year. I had 3 trips up at El Rancho with Skippy and Skippy Jr. And we milled up probably a dozen trees. We made some boards, we made some beams, just to have some inventory and mosquitoes and squirrels. And I want to rebuild a small stairway. It's like 6 steps and a landing that comes out of that's an exit from the first floor bedroom at El Rancho. So the it did well actually. The Yamasaw is a lot of fun. God, it's just cool. We did have a bit. So the Yamasaw's there, and I took some video of it. The first trip we had, which was we're April 20th. I think it was March of last year. Was the first time we unwrapped that Yamasaw, and apparently water had gotten into the exhaust, and it stuck the engine. It stuck one of the cylinders. So I stopped filming because we got pretty frustrated. Skippy and I were we had to take it apart and we soaked it. I hit the cylinder with a torch to heat up the cylinder. That was the only way we got that engine to spin again, was I heated up the front cylinder. It was the front cylinder that went bad. And I heated it up with a torch to try to expand that metal while we had ATF down the spark plug hole. We got the engine freed up, and it's hurt. It still runs, but it's hurt. I think we burned a valve or something is not correct because it still backfires through that one a little bit. So I might be changing the power plant on that. But last year we got a lot of stuff logged up, milled up from those logs, and the Yamasaw is a beast. I just didn't take a lot of videos on it. Sorry. I'm sorry. Archie Bunker asked if I still have the Suburban. I do not. I sold the Suburban in February of this year. I wasn't looking to sell it, but a guy came up and said, "Do you want to sell it?" And I said, "What's it worth to you?" And he's a guy I knew. He's a neighbor of my mom. And yeah. Waylon, if I made a shirt, I would buy one, just saying. Yeah, I don't know. I never got into stickers. I just never felt I was creative enough to come up with anything cool. I don't have any cool sayings or slogans. Um, uh, gotta go, gotta run. See ya. Maybe that was it. I don't know. All right, Waylon, Kenny, it was good to see you. You have to go edit for about 3 hours. Really glad you caught your live. I appreciate you stopping in. I do. See, do you see that? I saw that right around here. They got skeeters. They're getting me, so I'm gonna have to call this quick. It was good to see you, Ken. Have a great night. And like I said, the next time I'm running through the old Washington State there, I'm gonna get in touch with you. Getting late in Iowa. Gotta go. Gotta run. See ya, Blake. Archie Bunker says, Steve, the first video he ever watched on my channel was when I cold started a 1980 Cadillac Seville. Curious if you know what happened to that car. Goodness. God, that car had sat. That was in a house it was a 3-unit house I did a complete top to bottom remodel on. There were 60, I replaced all the windows in it. There were 66, 7, 8 windows, something like that. I remodeled all 3 kitchens, all 6 bathrooms, put all new doors. Oh man. Anyway, one of the tenants there had left me. If you don't know the story, one of the tenants had left me a 1980 Cadillac Seville. It was a fuel injected. It had the Oldsmobile 350 fuel injection, front wheel drive, with that slanted boot on the back, and it was poop brown with tan interior, and it had some really foul gas. I forget, it was sitting for 12, 13, 15 years, something like that. I had to put a new computer in it because the fuel injection computer wasn't working. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Give me just a second. Too much talking. So I went on Rock Auto. Sent my old one in. They sent me a reman one. I plugged it in. The thing fired up and ran. I sold that on eBay. Actually, I made pretty... Oh, I'm getting blasted. Good thing I don't have like itchy reactions to mosquito bites, but I can feel them. They're getting my hands. I sold that car on eBay and I made pretty decent money. And the guy came over from Oakland, California, was the guy that bought it. He drove to me with his girlfriend. He hopped in this car. It had expired reg. I didn't get the registration current. It had the old crusty tires on it. I put fresh gas in it for him, and I believe I put a battery in it, and that's about it. And he drove it home. He drove it like 40 some miles home. And I said, hey, his girl like was right on his tail, so you couldn't see the sticker. And I'm like, just give me a jingle when you get home, let me know. And he did. He sent me a text message. Hey, got home great. Car's fantastic. Thank you. That was the last I heard about it. That's like 10 years ago, right? I think that was 2009, 2010. That's bad math because that would be 13 years ago. Ah, goodness. The Seville video. Have a good night, Waylon, if you're still here. Yeah, Gear. Definitely like to sit around, talk about cars and rat rods and some singing. That would be Ken. That wouldn't be me. I'm not a singer. I do play the piano and I do play the drums. Um, I played drums in a band. Did you guys know that? Did you know that? Cars and coffee sounds better. Did you guys know that? I played in a band. I'm a classically trained pianist. Pianist. Um, yeah, I started taking classical piano lessons when I was 4.5 because I told my mom I want to learn the piano. I was a real sassy pants. I've always been a sassy pants. I was 2 years old and I told my mom I don't want to wear diapers anymore. She says you must wear diapers. And a half hour later, she finds, and this goes back years, right? You could never do this. Half hour later, she goes, I walk down the hallway and there's my pants, or there's my shoes, there's my pants. A little bit later, there's my diaper, and I'm outside riding my tricycle at 2 years old by myself up and down the street, butt bare, booty naked, and never put on a diaper again. But yeah, I was like 4.5, and I said, I want to learn how to play the piano. My mom's like, yeah, classically trained pianist. Works good in my construction business. But I picked up drums in high school, and I played in a band, like playing gigs, making money for almost 6 years. Um, it was fun. I had a lot of fun with that. That was 97, yeah, to like the early 2000s, 2003, 2004. And then I just played for fun after that because, life was got to be different with kids and whatnot. Cars and Coffee is a car show in Vegas. There's a guy that I watch. Um, his name is Ken as well. He's Rotter Files, and he does videos. He does live streams of that, and he lives in Vegas. He does that Cars and Coffee. He's a good dude. If you want to watch that Cars and Coffee, his name is Ken. That's Rotter Files. I don't know. I'm subscribed to him, but I got a bunch of subscriptions, and he just walks around, checks out the cars, and it's fun. It's fun stuff. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I played in a rock band. I should. No, it's in the house. I'd have to go in the house and get it. Um, yeah, Rotter Files used to be. Yes, right. Street Rotter 100. You're right. I still have all the flyers. So the our lead singer. I won't give out his name. That's rude. But our lead singer was we all had day jobs, right? But he was our lead singer and lead guitarist was probably the closest to a wannabe rocker. He had the long hair. This is hilarious. He had the long hair, and he was always the guy that his guitar was the loudest and always had the most distortion because he wanted to be a rock star. And we played blues rock, and it was actually a lot of fun. We played like early Rolling Stones. We played early Rod Stewart. And we had a few originals, but for the most part, we were a cover band of like early blues rock. Where am I going with this? There's a reason why I started this story. Oh yeah, I have all the flyers. His day job was he was a professor that taught digital graphics. So he was a graphics guy, and he would make up all the gig posters where we'd play in these dirty dive bars, which was awesome. It was so much fun. We'd play in art and wine festivals, and we had close to 2 hours of music we could play in a gig with one break, one 15-minute break at the 1 hour mark. And we would play at art and wine festivals. We would play in dirty dive bars in San Francisco, and as well as some of the ones. But San Francisco was like our most consistent gig because the dirty dive bars were always looking for live music, and we had five, one, two, three, four, 2 guitars, a drum, a bass, and a backup singer. So there were 5 of us, but there were only 4 pieces of equipment. I, of course, with the drums, that's the most crap to carry around. So um, not always the fun. Skook plays guitar. Look at you, Eddie Van Halen guitar. 5150 hashtag. Yeah, I still have. I hammered away on a guitar. I think there's a handful of videos that I've done where, um, I think there's a handful of videos I've done where I just make noise, right? I just know some power chords and a couple little fill-ins, and it's fun. So I still have an electric guitar. It's a Fender. It's a nice Fender guitar. I have a PV amp. I've got, well, not a whole. I've got 3 or 4 different like effects boxes and stuff like that. And you know, when my kids were little, I used to chase them out of the house with that. Between that and the drums, my neighbors loved me. The piano is mellow. It's calm. It's mellow. Yeah. Gear grind. Start learning the banjo, but broke string and have them replace the canjo. And have them replace. You know what? The banjo would be fun. My brain, I know how to read music. I learned to read music on a piano. The piano is very linear. There's 88 keys, right? Am I saying that right? The keys are very two-dimensional. It's right there. You read the music. I can by ear. I can go if I hear a song or a riff or something. I can go to the piano or a keyboard and I can reproduce that riff. And I've tried to do that with a guitar. I've tried to read music, and I've tried. And I mean, granted, I've never taken a formal lesson, and that's probably what the problem is. But I've tried to equate sheet music to a guitar. I've tried to equate what I hear and to a guitar and figure out because it's very three dimensional. I love the banjo. I get the biggest kick, or the canjo. I get the biggest kick out of like strumming and people that pick the banjo. It's just such a cool. I think it's a cool instrument. But I don't. Again, I don't have anybody that plays the guitar that I could watch or learn from. I don't have anybody local that plays the banjo or the canjo that I could like glean some knowledge from. So that's kind of on my bucket list of things to do. Definitely the guitar, know how to pick through a fretboard and reproduce the sounds that I want to do it. But again, I don't feel that I've devoted enough concentrated time to do that. So that's on me. But it'd be cool. If there was ever an instrument he'd love to learn, it would be the piano. The piano is fun. I like it. It's very relaxing to me. If this surprises any of the 10 viewers that are left, I have 2 pianos because I'm not very smart. I have the Wurlitzer piano that I've had since I was a kid. When I moved out of the house, well, no, I shouldn't say when I moved out. It was at my parents' house for a long, long time. When I bought this house here that we're in, I had an extra room, so I brought the piano over here. So that one still exists, and then I have another really nice piano. I had the opportunity to get a grand piano, and I like the sound of that flat soundboard out of a grand or a baby grand, but they just take up so much space, and I stopped myself from getting it. I could just sit there and play. Here's a fun story. I had 2 fun stories. What was the other fun story I was going to play? Oh, that one's dumb. I don't have to tell you that story. But the fun story about the piano, when I was 18, 17, 18, 19, I would play the piano at the Macy's in a shopping mall by my house. I would be that dummy that would be out, the suit dummy. I'd go there as a suit dummy, and you had to play for 2 hours. And they would do 2-hour shifts during the Christmas season. So it was usually 2 or 3 weeks. And it was, I was in high school at the time. Um, I think I was like 17, 18. So I was a junior high school, senior high school. It doesn't matter, whatever. But Macy's would pay us to sit out there and I would play. And I could just rattle off and I could riff because I had been doing it my whole life, right? I could just riff any Christmas based song. And then you could change the tempo, you could change the key, and it sounded like a whole new song that you're playing there. And they would, God, those skeeters are getting there. Did you see them flying around? Go off. They would, they'd pay you pennies, whatever the pennies were back then, 30 years ago. more than that, 35 years ago. God, I'm old. And then you play for tips, right? They'd have a big jar there, and people would come by and throw bucks in there. But that was fun. That I actually enjoyed that because you, other than dressing up like a suit dummy, and at the time I was driving a VW Bug, a 62 VW Bug that was like, it was red and half primer, and it was slammed. It was just slammed in the ground. Had a Stinger exhaust on it. Had some big engine. I want to say it was a 1776. I don't think it was an 1835 in that one. Anyway, some loud, rowdy engine with the Stinger on it. And I'd pull into the fancy multi-level garage of Macy's in this loud, rowdy car, and I'd pop out and I'd be this suit dummy, and then I'd sit down and I'd play classical piano for a couple hours. And it was, I don't know, it was decent money. The coffee shop would give us, free coffee and the little, I can't even remember the name of it now. Some little independent shop, right? Yeah, you go over there and you get a coffee and some little muffin or something, which would keep you through it. But that was fun. Corvair Wild, you want to go live with me next week? That would be sweet. Let's do it. Let's do it. You can actually do, so it's been a minute since I've done a live thing, Corvair Wild. You can actually invite other people to do like group. I've seen Gear Grindin's done it. Old Dan, you've done it, right? Where you can have multiple people on a single live chat. I think that would be sick. Message me, Corvair Wild, if you want to do that. We don't even have to be in the same region. We could invite each other and we could do one, and then we could have a party. I think it'd be fun. It'd be a kick. Oh, and then the other fun story, I'll tell you real quick because we're 130 minutes into this. Towards the end of my tenure with this band, they were bringing in another drummer, and the politics of the drummer was it was the lead singer, lead guitarist. It was kind of his band. We'll call it his band. His boss, he had a new boss, and his new boss played the drums, and his new boss wanted to be in a band. So, I gently got the boot, and I'm like, well, this finger, read between the lines. I'm like, F you guys, I'm out. But then they came back to me and they're like, hey, you play keyboard. Do you want to do keyboard? We want to do some new songs that we think would be really nice with keyboard. And I'm like, I don't own one. I own pianos, and I'm certainly not carrying pianos around. And then the lead singer says, I've got one. I got a really nice keyboard. So I said, all right, fine. It's whatever. It's money, and it's easier to haul around a keyboard than it is an entire drum set. So I did half a dozen gigs, 6 or 7 or 8 gigs with them playing keyboard, which was fine. It was fun. It was a challenge to learn because I don't play like we would play early Skynyrd, and there's a lot of keyboards in early Skynyrd, and it's fun. And I never played because I was always so rigid and classic on my piano playing. I didn't play a lot of that honky-tonk ragtime stuff, so it took me a minute to kind of get into that flow. But man, it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me get off of this. Yes, Corvair Wild, we will be in the same location. Yes. And they send you a code, connect to your YouTube, set up a stream. Sweet. Thank you, Gear. So one of the shows we were playing at this dirty, greasy bar off of Broadway in San Francisco, and it was greasy. Oh, goodness. And this would have been like right around 2000, 2001, whatever. And I was hammering away on this keyboard. Mind you, I'm married at the time, and my wife at the time, she was there, but there was this gal that was just like bleh, sloppy, just sloppy drunk gal, was slobbering all over us. I think it was just us in general, and we went on this intermission, and she's like, I want to call you, I want to date you to me, and I'm like, nope, can't do that. Happily married, leave me be. And she's like, she goes, oh, I'm going to call you or something like that. And I said, you don't even know my name. She goes, I know your name. She goes, your name is Rolando. I go, Rolando? I go, how'd you get that? It took me a minute. And she's like, your name's on your keyboard. And it was a Roland keyboard. That's a dumb story, but it just makes me laugh because she was so sloppy. So then, of course, my name became Rolando to my bandmates, and the two guys that I still talk to, they still call me Rolando 20 years later. She was sloppy drunk, good in that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm Rolando. Off you go then. Kick rocks, you vulture. Ah, plug and play, Rolando. It's right there on your keyboard. And it wasn't even my keyboard, so I was like, oh yeah, look at that. It says Roland on that. I had no idea. I wasn't really paying attention. Silly story, I know. I know. All right, where are we at? It's 8, 9. Goodness. 134 minutes and 36 seconds. I told you I could talk the room. I could talk the air out of, yeah, plug and pray. I could talk the air out of a room. Who was telling me earlier? They same. They could knock the air out of a room. Somebody. Goodness. Deer hunter. I think he's gone though. Disabled deer hunter. Excuse me. Why am I burping? I had a burrito today. Maybe that's why. Oh, that was at like 2 o'clock. Goodness. Our host is Rolando. Corvair Wild, yeah, I guarantee you talk more than me. You're probably right. You are quite a character, sir. And yep, that's a good thing though. I'm not saying that in a bad way. Kevin B, it's 11:12. Yeah, it's 9:12 here. Pacific Standard Time. I don't want to move around too much because I'm gonna knock this phone off again. But I think I'm done. 5:30 comes early. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm looking forward to the end of another week. I'm looking forward to that. Yup. I'm gonna drive the Volkswagen around this weekend. I've been doing a lot of bug driving. That little red bug, sick. It's just a lot of fun. It's not as fast as I remember these bugs being, but that one's a stock 1641. Well, 1641's not stock. But it's still a single Solex carb. It's not anything too crazy. The Skeeters. I must have some standing water around here somewhere. This is way more mosquitoes than it should be. It's 50 degrees out, and the Skeeters is out. Good night. ADD. YouTube says, you've been off YouTube for more than a year. Yeah, I think you could explain that. Yeah, Skook, we need to get lunch. I agree 1,000,000%. It's been a minute since we've had lunch, huh? Not that I'm opposed to meeting anybody. Ooh, did you see that little bug? That was not a Skeeter, but now the bugs are coming out. Goodness. There's like a handful of people that I've shared, that we've exchanged phone numbers, and only oh, yeah, ninja-like reflexes. Look at that. Got it. There's even a smaller handful of people over the years that I've met in person. Skooky being one of them. I met him. We only live about 45 minutes away, depending on traffic. But we've definitely met in the middle a few times and had some tasty burgers. Red Robin, yum. Endless fries, baby. Yeah, do you see the size of that bug? I tell you what, they're out. Oh, God. They're like, that one just flew in my nose. Did you see that? Where is it? Oh, I can't move. My next project is going to be air horns in the Dodge. I need to get that done. I have the compressor. It's right there. I have the horns. I have the tank. And I have the truck. I just need to do it. I've had that truck 3 years now. Air horns are, well, they went with the Suburban, those big monsters I put in the Suburban. But I've got a 15 and two 17s. I think they're 16 or 17-inch Grovers that are going to go in the Dodge truck. I just haven't done it. I haven't had time. The year and a half has flown. The year and a half hasn't flown past, but the year and a half has been really limited on my extracurricular activities. Because that's just what it is. Gear says he was supposed to meet two people from YouTube. One just disappeared. The other got real sick, passed away. Oh, goodness. Haven't come across anyone else from Missouri worth meeting, or they live hours away. They are not real. I'm sorry to hear about the one that disappeared and the one that passed away. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't do meet and greets. Maybe when my channel was more popular, I could have pulled off a meet and greet somewhere and actually met some people that are local. I've had people tell me, "Oh, hey, I saw your little white Toyota driving down the road," and where they said they saw it is where I was. So I knew there were people local. But like I said, actual YouTubers that I've met, I think actually physically sat down and met, maybe three over the years. Skooky, you being one of them. Three. I've exchanged my phone number with maybe half a dozen, maybe five. Um, Maddie, Scott, Wayne from the Diesel Stop, Skook. That's four. That might be it. Goodness. Railroad air horns. No, these are diesel truck air horns. These are semi truck air horns. Put an air horn on the bug. I don't know how long I'm going to keep that bug gear, honestly. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that 1970 bug, but I want something older. Um, I'm I'm waffling now that red bug, that 70 bug is like dialed in. It runs really nice, super reliable, runs, stops, steers, looks decent. Everything opens and closes like it should. It's probably time to sell it. I want something older. I want an oval window. I want something from the 50s, maybe the very early 60s. My first Volkswagen was a 62, and I've had half a dozen since then. I like the older style. So I've been on a soft search for an oval, like a 56 through 60, but they're just really expensive, and I don't want to dump a bunch of cash into something. So I don't know. The red bug I'm not getting too crazy on. The 70 I'm just kind of keeping it. I don't know. It'll probably be like the Suburban. I'm going to drive it around. Someone's going to go, "Ooh, do you want to sell that?" And I'll say, "Give me a number," and if the number's right, down the road it goes. Um, like that GSXR, I enjoy riding it, but that's going to be gone this year too. Get the right number, and it's got to go. How about a Carmen Ghia? I like Carmen Ghias. I've owned two. So hold on, let me get back to that. Oh heck yeah, the gear. Yeah, Gear Crichton's awesome. Um, Corvair Wild's been recognized from one end of the country to the other. I bet you have. Absolutely bet you have. I like Carmen Gias, honestly. I like the older ones that have the small taillights. I had a 65 Carmen Ghia for a short period of time that had the small taillights. I had a 71 or 72 Carmen Ghia for a while. But that had the big ginormous taillights on the quarter panel. I don't like the I like the older stuff. I don't know. I might get a Ghia, but I'm a bug guy. I just if the right Ghia came along, they're really expensive in my area too. The Karma Ghias are crazy. A rusted out, banged up pile of crap is still $5,000 around here, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Remember, I got that 70 bug for the cost of the battery. 150 bucks I paid for that thing. It owed $1,000 in DMV fees, and I did a little tap dance. I hired a title company, so I hired a title because it has salvage title, but it had $1,000 in back fees, and I hired a title specialist who was able to get those all waived. It cost me 250 bucks. He was a friend of a friend, so he gave me a deal. I think he's 400 normally. He only charged me 250 bucks because I did all the legwork. I did the VIN verification. I did the salvage resurrection. I did all the stuff. I got the brake and lamp inspection. I got the DMV inspection. I did the work to the rig, but the DMV inspection and the brake and lamp are big. And he's like, "You did all the hard work." He goes, "I just have to go in there and do his song and dance to get the fees waived," which he did. So that saved me a lot. I'm into that Volkswagen for a couple grand at this point. Yeah, older bugs are harder to find. I'll find the right one though. It'll manifest itself when it's time to manifest itself. Gear says, "Do I have a little camper that I was remodeling, or I'm thinking of a different channel?" No. Nope. That's me. So I still have that camper. It's a 1969 Cardinal Deluxe camping trailer. It's 10 foot. It's a cute little guy. I used that I think last year I used it 6 times. I've already used it twice this year. It didn't need a whole lot of remodel. It needed some cleanup, and then I put a flushable toilet in there. That's the other thing too is I got rid of the closet, and it still looks like the closet, but you open it up and there's an actual flushing toilet that I bought, marine toilet, ceramic bowl, actual toilet seat. I mean they're small, right? It's marine, and there's a 10-gallon black tank that holds the poop. So it's nice. It's nice now. It's cozy. Like I said, I've used it twice already this year. I used it 5 or 6 times last year. Um, the Dodge tows it like it's nothing, but I go up and down the coast. I last used it was like for real was in Monterey. And then the couple times this year have just been short runs just because I like sleeping out in the fresh air. Sometimes, you guys want to know a secret? Don't tell anybody. We're 144 minutes into this mess. Goodness. Um, so it's in my driveway in front of my house, right? Don't tell anybody this because this might be weird. Sometimes I like just sleeping in the camper in front of my house because the bed in there is comfortable. And I can open the windows and I get that fresh ocean air, which is what's coming in now. And I love the smell of the ocean. So I can go in there. The bed's already out right now. It's cozy. It's cozy in there. Got nice blankets. I roll the windows down. I flap those windows open, and I get that cool coastal air that comes through. And man, that is just a good night's sleep. I do that probably more than I should admit. Because is that weird that I'm camping out in my own driveway? I'm like a child that makes a fort out of bed sheets in the living room and sleeps out there. But yeah, I do have that camper, that 1969 Cardinal Deluxe. It's a lot of fun. And that's another one too, man. I picked that up for a song and a dance. The lady that was selling it, she was 250 miles from me. She's in Redding, California. If anybody knows where Redding, California is, she was selling this little trailer because she met some guy. It was her trailer. Allegedly, she used it herself, and then she met some guy that liked camping, and he had an Airstream, like a 20-foot Airstream. So she's like, "Well, with two of us, that's not a two-person camper. I mean, it is if you really like the person you're with." But she had a nice vintage Airstream. So she was trying to sell this thing. I think I got it for $1,000, $1,100. She was asking a lot, and then I kept watching it come down. She had horrible pictures, just these dumb pictures. It wasn't listed well, and I'm like, I think there's some potential here. So I talked to her after watching it go down 2 or 3 times in price, and I still got it for a song and a dance. I mean, that's a $10,000 trailer all day long if you market it properly, especially now with a flushing toilet. Just so fresh. The next time you're up at the property, you're going to have to bust some knuckles on that 68. That's right, you need to make some videos. Mr. Skooky 23. He's got a 68 Chevy short bed truck up there that he's doing work on, but he never takes any videos of it. Post a video on your channel. Let me know when you want to sell the 70. I sure will. You interested? That's right. Mrs. Skokie has the yellow bug. She's got a mustard bug. New York makes you pay $9 a day if the insurance lapse. California will, because it's a law to have insurance if you're driving your rig. They will suspend your registration if you go without. If you go with more than 30 days without insurance on a currently registered vehicle, they'll suspend your registration, and then it costs you money to get it back on the road. But you can do stuff called planned non-operation. You can put it on planned non-op, and you don't. It just like puts it in suspense, and that doesn't cost any money to come back out of. You pay $5 or something for a planned non-op if you're gonna not drive the rig. I'm dumb. All my rigs are registered and insured because I want to be able to drive them anytime I want. My 3 bikes, and the GTO is not registered and insured, but all my cars are. Cleo is good. Cleo is sleeping right now. Actually, at work today we had. Come in, scroll up. What's going on with my comments here? Hold on. Cleo's good. I had her at work today. One of our IT managers has this Australian Shepherd, a young pup, maybe about a year old, and she and Cleo just get along like peas and carrots. So they were in our play yard today, just tearing it up. So they played until they couldn't walk anymore, basically. So Cleo came home and flopped out on the floor. She's passed out. She's an old lady. She's I got her in the end of 15, 18, 19, 20, 20. I've had her 7 years, so she's probably coming up on 8 years old, which is old for a purebred Rottie. She's probably going to be dead soon. I shouldn't say that, but Blazer O2LS, what's happening? Ever check with Daniel Irving to see what he has? I have not. That's a good question. GPLE, you interested in that 70? What I really like about that 1970 bug is the person I bought it from, I should say the person that owned it got into a fender bender. And I don't know if you remember the videos, it got hit high on the front right fender, didn't hit the suspension, but it hit into the quarter panel and damaged the fender, caused it to be a salvage title. But that thing had a pan off. I know that pan's been apart from the body. It's all been painted. There's like zero rust on that thing, which is phenomenal. There's a lot of paint on it. I don't know how much Bondo's on it because I haven't gone through with my little device to measure, but it's decent and it runs nice. It's a good running little rig. I'll definitely let you know if that's something you're interested in. Ship it out your way. A ton of bugs and bug parts, and he's in Nevada. Wow, that's close. Nevada's just on the other side of the border from, well, it's close enough for me. I'm going to have to check that out. Thank you, Blazer. Thank you for that. You never know. I'd love to, like I said, I want an oval. I'd love to have something old enough with semaphores. I just saw an oval semaphore bug. It had to have been a 55 or a 56 by my work just Tuesday of this week. And I was like, oh, it was beautiful, though. I mean, that would have been a $60,000 car. It was just gorgeous. And I was like, oh, man. So that got me salivating for an old oval. Again. Did I ever get the heater that was on the floor of the camper fixed and working? I did not, Jeff. Jeff, you're the one that sent me the instructions on that, right? Didn't you send me the instructions on that floor heater? I'm a pretty warm-blooded guy, honestly, and I never messed with it. There's no reason for me to not mess with it, but I just never did. I know so there's 3 propane-powered devices in that rig. There's the floor heater, there's a 3-burner stove, and there's a wall-mounted light with a mantle. And I know the stove works for sure. I know the light works for sure. I just don't really use those. I'm a warm-blooded guy, so I don't need a heater. The lights, the 12-volt lights are nice, and they don't smell like propane. And when I go camping, I don't usually bring a lot of food that requires a lot of preparation. And then I've got this little stove. You know, it's alcohol. It doesn't smell like anything. If I want to warm up coffee in the morning or something, I won't fire up that propane stove. Just there's carbon monoxide. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a carbon monoxide detector in there to begin with, so that's the first thing. But I don't use really any of the propane on it, just for my own personal stuff. I bring that fireplace, the one that I made out of, like when I go camping and I'm out, I bring that fireplace that I made out of the air tank because it's got that flat top on it. I put a tea kettle on top of that, and I can have hot water very quickly. Yeah, Redding, that lady, her name was not Karen. Why am I drawing a blank? Started with a K. It's a K name. Kathy? I don't remember. Amy. No, it's not right. It doesn't matter. She was in Redding. So that's about 250 miles from my house, but totally worth the drive to get that camper. That camper's been a lot of fun. I've had it for a few years now, and I do definitely use it. Yeah, Skoke, get a picture. Get some videos of that 68. Come on, Nate. Archie Bunker, yes, I do still have the S10 Blazer at the ranch. That one's probably going to be a forever ranch rig at this point, and as long as it continues to run and drive. there's no reason why I would ever get rid of it because it's a nice, compact four-wheel drive rig. I want to say it's got like 180,000 miles on it. But for as often as it gets used, as long as it doesn't break down, and if it breaks down, if it's something minor, if it needs a new engine or transmission, it'll get deleted. But I don't see that rig ever getting back on the road. And I only say that because the reason why I pulled it off the road is because it had some cancerous rust on the firewall. Um, and I don't know why that one spot, but it's like right where the heater cord goes into the firewall on the passenger side. It's bad, and I was concerned about that, which is what ultimately got that rig pulled off the road. But for the ranch, it's perfect. And I'm glad I didn't chop the roof off that thing. Initially, I was like, oh, I'm going to take a Sawzall, I'm going to cut the roof off and make it a pickup. Dummy. I did not, which is good. So the S10 still lives up at the ranch. The 8N is still kicking. Yes, the 8N gets used a few times a year. It got used in December when I was up there to move some snow around. It's a good rig, but as I talked about earlier, I think it's time for me to part ways with the 8N just because I think I need, not I think, but I know I need something a little more heavy duty, something with power steering, something with a loader that can lift more than 400 pounds. That's where my biggest hurdle comes with that is, especially with the sawmill. So last year, we used the 8N every time for the 3 or 4 trips I made using the sawmill, 3 trips with the sawmill, the 8N was used to help load logs on and off, and it struggled. Um, that Werner attachment is nice for light. It's light duty. So I don't want to beat it in the ground. It's old. It's a 46 or 47, and I don't want to hurt it. And I know I will if I continue to own that thing. I'm gonna damage it. And I don't want to do that. I don't think that's fair to that old rig. It's a piece of metal, right, with some rubber tires. But I still have feelings for it, and I don't think it's fair to that old rig to just beat it into the ground. So I'm on the hunt for. It could be a two-wheel drive tractor, but as a kid, I used to drive a Ford, early 70s Ford two-wheel drive tractor with a front loader on it. And that thing was a beast. And I got around on that just fine for two-wheel drive. So I got my feelers out. That's kind of a soft goal for this year, for 23, to find something. And I would prefer to find a replacement tractor before I delete my working tractor. It's a good tractor though. Nothing wrong with it. Runs, drives, stops, lifts, does everything it's supposed to do. It's just a little too light duty for what I'm looking for. Up to 90 days, then they suspend your driver's license. Oh goodness, for the same days out of insurable. Wow. Um, so Corvair Wild is talking about insurance, and if you don't have insurance on your cars, I get that. I am. I don't even want to label myself as a libertarian, but I am definitely a small government guy, and I don't like government getting involved in my life. However, with that being said, I've also been in vehicle accidents at a younger age when the other drivers didn't have insurance and they had no fiscal responsibility, and that burns my biscuit there. So California requires it. It's a law. Does everybody follow the law? They do not. But I'm actually all for having financial responsibility if you're going to drive a car. That's pretty strict though, Corvair Wild. Goodness. Shoo. Toby the Chocolate Lab. What's up, Toby? Bark, 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 bark. 90 days times $9. Goodness. They screw up once in a while. Imagine not noticing your mail, and then they pull you over and try to explain it's an error, and the cop who's calling a tow truck. Yeah. Yep, and then you got to pay impound fees, right, if they tow your rig away. Poop Scoop, what's happening? Poop Scoop. Jeff Hardy's, yes, that was you. See, the brain works. Man, I'm coming up with names and stuff. Jeff Hardy's, let me guess. Your name is Jeff. I'm being a dick. Okay, I'll stop. Cool, yeah, I have that. I still have that color 3 or 4 pages. I've got that in my file of stuff. There's no reason why that I run hot though. I don't ever run a heater. I mean, as I say that, I'm bundled up now, but it was windy earlier today and it was a bit brisk. But I prefer the camper cold and me being under warm blankets. That's the way I love to sleep. cold from the chin up, and then nice toasty blankets on the neck down. Man, oh man, I sleep like a baby. Baby. Blazer said his brother-in-law got stuck up with a lot of BS because he was running his car in Oregon, but his brother was paying the insurance on it. They decided it wasn't insured. Oh goodness. Yeah, I don't play around with that. I just, there's certain things in life you run loosey-goosey with, and keeping my registration current on my rigs and keeping stuff insured is something I don't cut corners on that stuff, because that's the quickest way to go broke. You run around without vehicle insurance, or you run around without health insurance. That is the quickest way to find your butt broke. Did make sense to me. It had legal paperwork, but New York had a fit. Goodness. Kier likes playing tractors. You want a 46 8N tractor? It wouldn't be that much of a shipping nightmare. We can get it out to you. I enjoy playing tractors, and that 8N is nice. It's fun. It's just, like I said, it's a little bit light duty. Duty. He keeps saying duty. Where are we at? Goodness. We're at $1.60 right now. I think I'm going to call it good. We got 14 people in here. 13. Oh, someone just left. Man, I am rocking. Look at this. 13 people. Is this super grainy? I think it's probably, well, it is what it is at this point. 3 hours into this mess. Good grief. I got to go inside. I got things I got to get done tonight. It's early. I know, right? Ferguson TO20 is a chore tractor. It might be a bit gritty. I'm on. You know what I should have done? I think I'm a fool. I think I left it on my Wi-Fi. I think if I'm like gritty and choppy, I think it's because I put it on, because I'm out in my yard, and it's probably like connected to my Wi-Fi. I should have shut my Wi-Fi off and made it just on cellular, because I got full cell bars. Whatever. A little late now. All right, listen, I'm gonna wrap this up. Skokes says, check your phone. I sent you some pics. Buddy, I'm on the phone. I can't, because I'm live streaming. But I will check it. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know if out of the 11 that are here, how many have been here since the first couple minutes, but even if you haven't, it's all good. Appreciate you guys. Great for the chat. Love to see the old familiar faces coming back. You guys have a good night, and if I don't put up a video this weekend, I don't think I will, but I may. You never know. I might get some ambition, but I got to get out of here because the skeeters are just eating me. Have a good night. Gotta go, gotta run. I'm going to say this, but I don't even know how to shut this thing off. Hold on. There. Cancel. How do you end this? Hold on. Let me grab this. See, this is my high-tech filming. I had it set on that. There's the lathe. Oh, I like my lathe. All right, where am I at? All right, kids. Maybe it's the X. Thank you for hanging out. Gotta go, gotta run. See ya. If you want to exit the stop streaming, end. All right, gotta go, gotta run. See you. Oh, push the X. Or don't push the X. Wait, that's not right. What did I press? Come back. Come back to me. Okay, there it is. Okay. Third time's the charm. Gotta go, gotta run.